You ready to go?
Panelist phone number 608-838-6410. Could you please identify yourself?
Hi, Jim Boxer from the Tavern League.
Thank you. And panelist 706-972-9330. Could you please identify yourself?
This is Catherine Farley.
Could you spell that for me, please?
Sorry. Kathryn, last name Farley, Farley.
Thank you.
Okay, we are ready to go. The LRC meeting of December 17, 2025 is called to order. Mr. Verbeek.
Welcome to our hybrid meeting. Participants in the room, please do not join the meeting in Zoom. Virtual participants, if you lose connection at any point during the meeting, you can reconnect by clicking the link or calling the number in your original email. Members attending virtually, if you are able, please activate your video for purposes of quorum and keep it on for the duration of the meeting. Staff, if you are able, please activate your video when you are speaking. Members of the committee, when you wish to speak, ask questions, or request a roll call vote, please push the person button on your microphone or raise your hand virtually. Those in the room will have their microphone turned on when they are recognized to speak. Those attending virtually can unmute themselves when recognized. When you are finished, all should mute themselves. Members of the public who have registered to speak. Those appearing virtually, the name you entered in Zoom must match the name you entered in registration. You will remain muted until called upon. If you are here in person, when you are called to speak, approach one of the two podiums on either side of the dais and you will be recognized. For all registrants, the clerk will tell you when your time is up. After all public speakers, a member of the body may ask you a question. If you need to share documentation with the committee, please send it to the email listed on today's agenda. Thanks. Chair, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Call to order. Roll call.
Alder Glenn?
Here.
Alder Glenn is here. Alder Verveer? Mr. Rushik?
Here.
Mr. Rushik here. Ms. Farley?
Present.
Ms. Farley is here. Ms. Westra?
Here.
Ms. Westra is here. Alder Figueroa Cole?
Here.
Alder Figueroa Cole is here. And Ms. Clemens? Clemens is here. Chair, we do have quorum.
Excellent. Approval of the minutes, November 19th.
Move approval.
Thank you. Would you also like to move, since you were here for 26th, the November 26th?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, move approval for November 19th and November 26th.
Thank you. Any objections? Seconded by, is that Alder Figueroa Cole?
I believe so.
Any objections? Any corrections? Seeing none, the minutes are approved. Next is public comment, general public comment.
Let me just double check. I do not see him register for general public comment.
Yes. Where are you at? Okay. What do you? So next on the agenda is the consent agenda. Mr. Verbeek.
Okay, I'll do a quick read through of the consent agenda and just sort of list what the general headers is for each of those items and the numbers that are in that header. And then the committee will consider that and then approve the consent agenda, and then I'll do a full reading of what has been passed on the consent agenda. So the proposed consent agenda for ALRC meeting December 17th, 2025. I recommend the council to grant for operator license application item 3. This was heard at the ALRC operator subcommittee meeting last month. Change of agent items 5, 6, 7, entity reorganization 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And I recommend the council to re-refer public hearing new license item 15. I'm actually going to recommend that we pull 7 and 8 from the consent agenda. I put those on there, and then I realized that it's a change of 50% or more of the organization. It's not a full 100%, but it's over 50%, so it should not be in the consent agenda.
Okay, thank you. Is there, does anyone want to separate anything from the consent agenda?
I'll separate 7 and 8 officially.
Okay. Anything else?
And I'll move approval of the consent agenda minus 7 and 8.
All right. The motion by Ms. Westra to approve the consent agenda and the recommendations, except for 7 and 8, which are separated. Any, Alder Glenn?
I was just seconding.
Okay, seconded by Alder Glenn. Any objection? Seeing none, the consent agenda is approved. Next is operator.
Do the full read through that. All right, so the past consent agenda for ALRC meeting December 17th, 2025. Recommend the council to grant operator license application for Alexander Gran. Again, this is a recommended to grant from the ALRC operator subcommittee meeting from the meeting last month. Item 5, change of agent, Baked Wings LLC. Item 6, change of agent, Wonder State Coffee LLC. Item 9, entity reorganization for Portillo's Hot Dogs LLC at 4505 East Town Boulevard. 10, entity reorganization, Portillo's Hot Dogs LLC at 7230 West Town Way. Number 11, entity reorganization for Fresh City Market LLC. Item 12, entity reorganization, Metcalf LLC. 13, entity reorganization, Metcalf Foods West LLC. And a recommendation to council to re-refer item 15, public hearing new license, Bombay Blues, Inc. As a note, this applicant needs to submit additional materials before consideration. We've heard that this applicant does not know if they'll get their stuff in the next few weeks. I recommended to them that if they do not get their stuff in by the next meeting, that I'd probably recommend for the committee to place this item on file. But I think we should give them another month.
Okay. Alder Verveer, did you want to separate anything? We've already approved it, but we can reconsider if you want to separate anything. I'll give you a second. Okay. So that's approved. If you heard your business called, then you can move on with your night. You're welcome to stay, but you are welcome to go. Okay, next on the agenda is item number 2, operator license application for Timothy Consigny. Is he here?
I do not have any registrations for that, and I have not heard from the applicant.
Okay. We've referred this multiple times as a reminder. So normally we would do at this point, someone would move to place on file. Ms. Westra.
Yep, I'd like to move to place this on file.
Okay, move to place on file without prejudice by Ms. Westra. Second. Any objection? Seeing none, that is placed on file. Next is the operator license application for Nancy Martin. Is Nancy here? You can come up here. We'll hear from you in just a second,
Sure.
but first we'll hear from Captain Hartman to explain the background check.
Two things were noted here in the guidelines. That's going to be number 1 and number 4. 1 for 5 felonies that are listed in the criminal history, and number 4 for being a habitual offender. The ones that I'm going to list here all occurred in 2020 as the time of occurrence. A lot of those convictions then being completed in 2021 and 2022. So the very first one, I have a 515 of 2020 for a retail theft. That is less than $500, and that's a misdemeanor A. Also 525 of 2020, another retail theft that was taken by Madison PD. Also a misdemeanor A. 527 retail theft of under $500, misdemeanor A. On June or 6/25 of 2020, a retail theft, possession of narcotic drugs, and resisting or obstructing an officer. The retail theft was a felony, and the possession of narcotics was also a felony in that one. That was in Fond du Lac. In June June 7th of 2020, another retail theft in Sauk County. That was a misdemeanor A. I have another 5/1 of 2020, misappropriate ID to obtain money. That was Waukesha County. That was a felony. In July then of 2020, July 5th, retail theft, intentionally take less than 500, or sorry, greater than 500, less than 5,000, another felony. July 4th of 2020, retail theft, intentionally take greater than 500, less than 5,000, another felony. That one was in Portage County. July 8th of 2020, retail theft, remove anti-theft device in Iowa County. That was another felony. Another July 9th, 2020, retail theft, take less than $500 in Dane County. That's a misdemeanor A. And then in September 5th of 2020, resist or obstruct an officer here in Dane County, and that is a misdemeanor A.
Thank you. Nancy,
Okay.
explain to us.
Sure. So I can't deny that there was a very short period of time where things went very awry for me. Prior to that, I have a very minimal criminal record. I do have a master's degree in business. I mean, so there are a lot of things that I did do, and then things went very awry during COVID. However, in the last 5 years, I've been in the bartending industry, and I hold licenses in 3 municipalities in Dane County. I've never had any kind of violation on my license, and I'm definitely not the same person that I was for that 9-month period of time where this just went completely awry. However, I do understand that you guys have to look at all of that, but I do, like I said, I have hold licenses in 3 places. I've been working full-time in this industry since then for the last 5 years. And I guess I just wish that you guys could give me a shot in the city of Madison. I've been working in the city of Madison, just not in a position where I've required a license because I'm the only one there. So my current position does require that I'm the only one there. And so after my provisional expired, now I'm out of a job that I've been successfully doing for 5 years, just not with a license in this municipality. So I'm asking if there's any way that you guys can grant me the license so I can keep doing this. I don't know what else I can say to convince you guys that I'm a responsible server, but like I said, I have very good rapport with the police, especially in Middleton, where I spent a lot of years working and had my license renewed there, so I had a license for 4 years plus. And I've never had a situation where my license has ever, I've never got a citation or even any kind of knock against my license. So I don't know if there's any questions that I can answer to, facilitate the process of me getting my license. I just want to keep working, and it's already, a very challenging situation for me to get employment as it is. This just makes it that much more difficult because essentially I'm going to be very much out of a job now without a license.
So what was going on in 2020? So the offenses listed are all concentrated in the, as you mentioned, within a few
So I was working in the
weeks.
corporate world, and I lost my job in the corporate world, and I had some other issues, and I had to make ends meet, and I made some very, very bad decisions. In a very short amount of time, I really screwed my life up. So,
Any questions from committee members? Ms. Clemens.
A question for Captain Hartman. Maybe there's a driving under the influence listed on the application from Ms. Martin, but you didn't mention that from 2021 in the read-through. What's the status of that one?
Give me a second here to find it.
I think that,
It was dismissed because I wasn't under the influence.
what year was that?
So it was in, I think, 2020 or 2021. I don't remember. I think it might have been 2021. I'm not sure. I was pulled over and charged with driving under the influence, and then the blood work came back, and then it was dismissed because I wasn't under the influence. So
Oh, I see.
it was just a long process of getting that dismissed through the system because it takes a very long time for that blood work and all of that to come back and for everyone to be on the same page that I indeed was not under the influence. So
Further questions for committee members, from committee members? Alder Revere.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome. So a few questions, please. The first one is just a curiosity question, I suppose, but why are you licensed in so many jurisdictions for your employment? Do you work at a...
I had multiple jobs. So in this industry, it's sometimes hard to get full-time employment at one place. So you work multiple jobs. And so that's why, I'm licensed in the Village of Dane, City of Fitchburg, and the City of Middleton.
So these are 3 different employers, and so City of Madison's a 4th employer?
Well, these are all previous employers. So while I have the licenses, like I'm still technically working at one in Fitchburg, but I left the other 2 that I'd been working at for other opportunities that I had. And these businesses, they close, things happen, which you guys are familiar with, so that makes it more complicated. This industry is not very consistent with employment.
Yeah, I thought maybe when I first read that, and then obviously you testified tonight as well, I thought maybe it was that you worked for the same employer, for example, a convenience store, and you just worked in multiple locations, but it was all different employers.
Right, so then I recently got employed at Dutch Mill, got my provisional right away, and then that expired, and I actually I didn't have a lot of I didn't even get my application like flagged for 3 weeks after my license was provisional was expired. So I've been kind of in limbo for a while, and it's a small business, so they can't afford to hold a job for one person right now. So essentially I'm out of employment. And I'd like to work in the city of Madison because it opens up a lot of opportunities for employment, but it really obviously hinders on my ability to get my license. It's dependent on that.
And I presume that you've had to talk about, unfortunately, about your past in these other jurisdictions, right? For each of the other licenses.
Yes, I have. And they, I spoke directly with a City of Middleton officer who was responsible for approving it. And you have to understand that they approved it 4 or 5 years ago, following, when it was really recent. And he's like, it's not substantially related to your employment, and we'll, give you a shot at this, and so, and I did. I held that well, and I have a great rapport with those officers. And, the city of Fitchburg, they were very much like, you got to put this behind you. It's okay. Here's your license. Village of Dane just gave it to me. So.
Under state law, they're required to
They
do something.
They did something in the
Okay,
background.
okay.
They didn't just hand me the piece of paper there, but, they didn't contact me regarding it.
Yeah. Well, particularly if you're a convicted felon, we have to, by state law, we have to go through this conversation. I'll put it
Right.
that way. Yeah.
It's not very fun. It's like there's, it's a really difficult thing to have to deal with.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, and I'm obviously sorry for all the difficulties you've had in the last few years. So on a more positive side, can you discuss what your journey was like with supervision with the Wisconsin Department of Corrections, and especially the treatment that they deemed necessary?
Yeah, so they actually let me off about a little less than a year early because they didn't feel that I needed, that I had paid all the fines and whatnot. And she said she only let like 3 people in her career off early and that I had deserved it. I never had any kind of violation of any kind, always maintained employment, never had any other weird occurrence. Like I said, this was a really quick way to, really screw up your life, but it's not a very good representation of who I am. And it really kind of, it sucks because I have to stand up here and explain myself to you guys. But I didn't have any violations with probation, and I didn't find it even to be a very complicated thing. I mean, I had to pay what I needed to pay, and I needed to do what I needed to do, which wasn't complicated since I was doing what I was supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, congratulations on your PO discharging you early and the court concurring with that. So when I said I was curious about treatment that they deemed necessary. When I looked at your record, when I was reviewing the application over the weekend for tonight's meeting, and I saw the retail thefts, I assumed, of course, it was a addiction issue immediately. Mm-hmm. And then obviously there's the Fond du Lac County possession of narcotic drugs. Mm-hmm. So can you speak to that? I mean, have you been through treatment? Yeah.
There was a dependency issue. I had a serious auto accident when I was 18 years old, and I had been on doctor-prescribed narcotics of all kinds for like 20 years to deal with it. And then when I realized that wasn't working and they realized it wasn't working, I had no idea the level of physical dependency that came with, and it kind of corrupted my entire life until I could get off of it. I'm lucky to have a really good support network that I have been able to rely on, but the Department of Corrections did not. They had me go through different evaluations as required by court, but there wasn't any needed like follow-up from that. I was able to successfully get off of all of that on my own. So
that's great.
It's a really challenging situation, and you don't realize what you're getting yourself into when you're 18 and you've almost died multiple times, and you become, I had no idea those years how dependent I'd physically, mentally become on those really evil drugs.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry again for all you've had to go through. You're, impressive that you were able to overcome all that, to be sure.
I actually just had surgery outpatient on Friday and refused any pain medication. So.
Mm-hmm. And then just one last question, just to make sure that any treatment that the court said deemed necessary has been covered. I saw that you didn't have a valid driver's license. Was that, and but you were convicted of operating while suspended. Was that because of you were suspended automatically before the blood was analyzed? Is that?
Yeah, and there was also, it was really funny, it actually stemmed from an unpaid speeding ticket from like 2017 or something. And so that initially suspended my license, and then when I got driving after suspension, then it suspended it more. And then what happened thereafter, when I got, they dismissed the DUI. It was like a week later that the state trooper requested my fitness for driving, an evaluation of sorts, which required a medical doctor to fill out. It was a form saying I was medically fit to drive. But because I didn't have health insurance, I didn't have a doctor, and so I couldn't get anyone to sign it until I could get a doctor, which then I had to purchase insurance off the marketplace in order to get a doctor, wait for a doctor. It was a whole mess. And then of course when I brought in my doctor, she's like, is this really legit? They can do this to you? Yeah, absolutely. And so she obviously signed it because clearly I'm fit to drive. But I think he was maybe upset. I mean, he was convinced that I was like smoking marijuana or something when he pulled me over. And I'm like, I don't smoke marijuana. But when it came to light, I didn't realize that they could do that. They did. So
Again,
it took me a long time to rectify my driver's license as well, which was extremely frustrating. But just did what I just went through the channels. I just had to get a doctor first.
Again, thank you for responding to all these difficult questions.
Yeah, no, this is not.
I just wanted to explain that the reason I asked
Yeah,
about your
no.
driving privilege isn't because we care if you can legally drive. It's because in the background, if you had any required driver safety plan, which required treatment or not.
Yeah, no, I
It
don't
shows your
have-
rehabilitation.
Yeah, I don't have any of that
Yep.
requirements, or I do have a valid driver's license.
Very good. Well, again, sorry that we have to ask you these
That's
difficult
okay.
questions.
Whatever
and
I can answer. To,
Congratulations on turning your life around.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Thanks. Thank you, Chair.
Alder Figueroa Cole.
Thank you. Ms. Martin, can you please clarify, do you still have a license today in Wanakee?
Do I have a?
Do you have a valid
Yeah, I have.
alcohol license in Wanakee at the moment?
In where?
Do you have one valid today from other municipalities?
Yeah, I have a valid one from the city of Fitchburg, the village of Dane, and my city of Middleton just expired, but it was a renewal, and I don't work there anymore, so I had no reason to renew it, but I know that the city of Middleton would renew it again for me if I need it.
Okay. All right, thanks. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Just want a clarification on that.
Great.
Thanks.
Further questions from committee members? Alder Glenn.
Move to approve.
Moved by Alder Glenn, second by Alder Verveer to approve. Any discussion? Alder Glenn.
I just meant to put my hand down, but I'll say something. I forgot to put my hand down, Colin. I'll just say thank you for coming in and for, writing everything out in detail for us. Like Alder Verveer said, this is state policy, and the questioning is, a lot for the record and for all of us. And we appreciate your transparency and allowing us to do our job.
Mhm.
And I wish you very good luck.
Thank you.
Further discussion, Alder Figueroa Cole.
I have a question for McReynolds. Amber, is she in the room? I'm not sure.
She appears to be on Zoom. Attorney McReynolds.
Hey, Amber. So, Carmela and I had approved a license where we kind of like got ahead of ourselves a little bit regarding the what we need to create a record that there's proof of recovery or whatever. In this case, I mean, she has licenses already from other municipalities, and that seems to me like we're on the same state of Wisconsin, the same rules, right? So I don't have any issue here supporting this license. But do we need anything else for the record in this case? Just want to make sure we got this right, or do we have to ask for, a letter recommendation or something to come before council or whatever? Is this good enough?
It's discretionary for you to decide what you are using as proof of rehabilitation. So as long as you can, articulate that why you're approving the license, there's not a reason to have a specific letter of recommendation or something
Okay.
like that.
So does that need to be part of the record when we do the motion? Like specifically, or just a discussion is enough?
Just in the discussion is fine.
Okay, perfect. All right, so just for the record, again, having the validity of other licenses on the state, I'm very comfortable supporting the approval of this license. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion. I'll just add that I'll support, if I end up voting on this, I would support it because The only one on here that I think is substantially related is possession of narcotic drugs. That conviction was almost 5 years ago. The date of the offense was more than 5 years ago. And the applicant testified that she no longer uses narcotic drugs, not even when prescribed, and just recently even refused after a surgery, which is impressive. So I'll just add that. Any other points of discussion? Seeing none, is there any objection to the motion to approve? Seeing none, that's approved. Thanks for coming tonight.
What is the process now?
So this recommendation goes to the Common Council for the January 10th meeting. However, beginning January, whatever the first weekday in January is, you can request a provisional license because we can only issue one every calendar year. So once 2026 starts, you can request a provisional license to operate in that period up until when the Common Council grants the full license.
But there's nothing that I can do for 10 days?
Unfortunately not.
Okay.
Yeah, state law prohibits us from giving more than one provisional license in a calendar year.
Okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda is item number 7, change of agent, RK Investment Company, Stop and Shop, 312 East Mifflin Street. Any, you can come up here.
Yeah, we have two registrants, Shreya Kular and Harsimaran Kular.
Okay. And you're, yeah, that's fine. And then, Jim, you said because this was a 50% rule, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Just tell us briefly what's behind this request.
For the change of agent?
Yes.
So we are just, it's a family business. So Shreya Kular, her uncle runs the business. So now he's adding her as agent and partner in the business.
Okay.
So yeah, that's why
Thank you.
we're here.
Any questions? Seeing none. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Moved by Ms. Westra,
Second.
second by Alder Glenn. Any discussion? Seeing none, is there any objection to approving the motion? Seeing none, that motion carries. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
That was item 7.
And the 8's also.
And 8 is, oh, the same thing.
Yeah.
Yep, my page was not flipped. They're on 2 separate pages. I think, what do you think, Jim? Do you want us to just go through the motions again since we didn't explicitly state it?
Sure.
We're doing both?
Move approval for number 8.
Okay, move approval on 8, seconded by Ms.
Alder
Clemens.
Glenn. Oh, no, go ahead.
Any objection? Seeing none, motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you again. Have a good evening.
Okay, next.
And then 19 and 20 are interpreters.
Okay, we'll go to item number 19 and,
They're separate businesses.
okay, we'll just take up 19 and Jim, we've swear in the interpreter.
Yep. Can you raise your right hand? Do you affirm you accurately interpret Spanish to English and English to Spanish?
I do.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now for the registrant.
The registrant is Rodrigo Flores, and he is in Zoom.
Rodrigo, can you hear us?
¿Nos escuchas, Rodrigo?
Sí.
Okay, thanks for being here. Can you tell us a little about your business?
Gracias por estar aquí. ¿Nos puedes contar un poco de tu negocio?
¿El qué, perdón?
Tu negocio, explicar un poco cuál es tu negocio.
Ok, tengo un restaurante y que en un restaurante mexicano quiero vender bebidas alcohólicas. Está en la área del Madison East Side y sirvo comida mexicana.
I have a Mexican restaurant in the east side and I want to sell alcohol and we also sell like a Mexican food.
Further questions from committee members? Alder Figueroa Cole.
¿Perdón?
So Rodrigo, yo pensé que esto era una tienda de ventas de comida. I thought this was a grocery store also.
Es una tienda con restaurante.
It's a store and a restaurant.
So what is the breakup of the sales between the food sales and the alcohol? Can you please remind me?
¿Nos puede recordar cuál es la distribución, el porcentaje de ventas de alcohol y de comida? No sé si nos lo puede recordar.
Es no creo que era 20% de alcohol, 20% de otra comida, 20% de alcohol y 60% de comida, creo.
Perdón, Rodrigo, no te entendí. 20% de comida, 60% de comida, 20% de alcohol y el otro.
Y 20% de otra cosa.
Otros, okay. So it's 60% food, 20% alcohol and 20% of other.
Yes, so can I think on the application, I don't know if it got revised, but the other wasn't defined. Is the other referencing like the grocery part of the store?
¿A qué se refiere cuando dice lo otros? Porque no estaba definido en la solicitud. ¿Es lo que venda de la tienda de abarrotes, de la tienda en sí misma? ¿Ese 20%?
Tengo servicio de remesas para México.
Oh, okay. I have a service to like send money to Mexico.
Oh, okay.
So money transfer.
Got it. Thank you.
Gracias. And then can we clarify, was the discussion that was just happening about the Commercial Avenue business?
Oh, es el negocio el que está en Commercial Avenue, ¿no?
¿Perdón?
El negocio está en Commercial Avenue. En Comercial. La avenida Comercial es donde está el negocio, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yes, Commercial Avenue.
Okay, we'll focus on item 19, 4915 Commercial Avenue, and then we'll do the other one separately.
Okay. Vamos a centrarnos en el asunto número 19, que es el de Commercial Avenue, y el otro, el artículo 20, lo trataremos después.
Okay.
Further questions for the applicant? Ms. Clemens.
Thank you, Chair. A question for the applicant. You have an opening date of 2021, so I just want to clarify, you've been open in that location, doing the grocery and money transfer and food, and you're just now adding beer is the change.
Sí, tengo una pregunta sobre la fecha que tenemos aquí de inicios de 2021. Entonces, mi pregunta es si ya ha estado operando la tienda, vendiendo la comida, vendiendo los artículos de la tienda y ahora únicamente estamos añadiendo la cuestión del alcohol. ¿Es así?
Sí.
Yes, that's the case.
Thank you.
Further questions, Ms. Clemens?
None right now, thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Alder Revere.
Thank you, Chair. Welcome. I think my only question is related to your estimated capacity, which is question 9. If by chance you have your application in front of you, since the time of your application, have you been able to receive confirmation of what your legal capacity might be? As a reminder, on your application, you gave us a range of between 40 and 50 persons. And we really like to have one number rather than a range.
Sí, entonces desde que hizo la solicitud, la única pregunta que tengo, la capacidad estimada que puso en la solicitud, que es la pregunta número 9, ponía que tenía entre 40 y 50 personas de capacidad, pero necesitamos un número fijo, no un rango entre dos números de cuál es la capacidad legal del establecimiento. ¿Tiene una confirmación de cuál es la capacidad legal, el número máximo?
El número máximo sería como 45.
The maximum number would be in the area of 45, around 45.
45 persons, okay.
45 personas.
Sí.
So then as a follow-up question, so you would be comfortable, what we would call amending your application here during the meeting on the record to 45 persons indoors?
Entonces usted no tendría problema en que modificáramos la solicitud para poner 45 personas en el interior del establecimiento en lugar del rango de 40 a 50?
Sí.
Yeah, that would be fine.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you, Chair.
Alder Figueroa Cole.
Can I ask a question of Mike real quick about that question?
If he would.
Yeah, and if he wants to answer.
Yeah.
So Mike, when you ask about the capacity, are you like, this is a grocery store, so is that like a combination of the entire thing, or are we talking about, for the license, are we talking about the capacity of how many people can they seat for the restaurant? Is that relevant?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Alder, it might be more appropriate question for the Assistant City Attorney than I, but particularly since it's a Class B and not a Class A, I think we do need a capacity number as a starting point, and then obviously City Building Inspection Division and Fire Department will take it from there under the code and really set what the capacity is. So maybe I should have asked the applicant as a follow-up question how many seats you have as well in the restaurant
Okay, maybe
portion
that
of
would be
the establishment.
Yeah.
If you want to
Thank
ask
you.
that, but I realize I should probably pause for interpretation, but
Yep. Entonces, Rodrigo, simplemente era una pregunta. La concejal Figueroa Cole tenía una pregunta sobre por qué la pregunta anterior y de cómo se contabilizaban esas personas, y si iban a contabilizar las personas que estaban en ese momento en la tienda o las personas que estaban sentadas comiendo, cómo era la contabilidad, y que esa sería una respuesta que tendría que dar la ciudad y más en concreto el Departamento de Inspección de Edificios y de los bomberos. El Departamento de Bomberos tendrían que dar esas definiciones. Entonces, quizás la pregunta que tenemos es ¿cuántos asientos va a haber para comer? ¿Cuántos lugares hay para que la gente esté sentada comiendo?
and if we might, then could we ask the attorney? I'm sorry, Attorney McReynolds, her thoughts on that, but was there more?
Yeah, I was asking how many seats he has.
Oh, okay, thank you. Why don't you go ahead and do that then?
Sí, ¿nos puedes contestar, Rodrigo? ¿Cuántos asientos hay?
Exactamente no sé, pero hay entre 40 y 50 asientos.
Asientos en la mesa para sentarse o una barra. Okay. I don't know exactly how many we have, but it's between 40 and 50 seats that we
Actual
have.
seat, great, perfect. Attorney McReynolds, do you have thoughts on the Alder's question?
So the question is if we need a specific capacity or
No,
what?
Amber, I was just wondering, like, since it's, again, I'm gonna pull my new card in this one. So this is a grocery store, kind of, a mini market. Is the capacity for that building, or is the capacity based on the capacity of sales eating at the place? Like, I just was curious about that. But it sounds like he has enough tables for 40 people, so he's already considering that, 40, 50 people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that might be more for building inspection, but the premises, you know, the alcohol is being served at the tables. So, and it sounded like you said, there was enough space at the tables for the estimated capacity.
Okay. Thank you.
Sí, simplemente Rodrigo, para que la respuesta de la abogada de la ciudad es que la pregunta está relacionada con el alcohol se va a servir en las mesas. Entonces la pregunta es cuántos espacios hay en las mesas y parece que ya ha tenido usted en consideración el espacio que hay para gente sentada que esté comiendo y bebiendo alcohol.
Okay.
Further questions from committee members? Alder Verveer. Wrong.
Press the button yet.
Oh, I
Speaking of, one more question for the applicant, please. Speaking of class of licenses, I just want to confirm, knowing that there are 2 applications on this agenda, could we confirm, is it accurate that only a beer license is sought for Commercial Avenue, but then a full liquor license for the next application on East Park Boulevard?
Sí, entonces tenemos una pregunta simplemente para confirmar, para saber que no hay algún tipo de error. Entonces, usted tiene 2 solicitudes hoy aquí ante la mesa. Una es para Commercial Avenue y ahí únicamente está pidiendo una licencia de cerveza, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Y para el lugar en East Park, ahí es donde está pidiendo la licencia general de alcohol, de cerveza y alcohol.
Sí.
Yes, correct.
Thank you.
Ms. Clemens.
Thank you, Chair. Another clarifying question, I believe for the applicant. Question 11 on the application about other licenses at this location. Kind of has yes and no cross, but I think the intention was yes, but it's blank. I see on the license lookup website that there is a license for La Bonita at this location that expired in June 2025. So just clarification, was there a previous license for beer at this location, or is this the first time adding it?
Sí, tengo una pregunta sobre la pregunta número 11, en la que se pregunta si en este lugar, en Commercial Avenue, había una licencia de alcohol con anterioridad y están marcadas tanto la casilla del sí como la del no. Parece que la intención era marcar la que sí, pero simplemente quería clarificar. Y lo que vemos aquí, lo que he visto es que hay una licencia de alcohol para La Bonita, para Commercial Avenue, pero que esa licencia expiró en junio del 25.
No, esa licencia se renovó.
Yeah, that license was renewed.
La de la Commercial Avenue todavía tengo la licencia activa. Lo que pasa, lo que tenía era la licencia ahí, solamente que estoy solicitando de nuevo la licencia porque me cambiaron el número de bien, ¿no?
¿El número de empleador?
Del empleador.
Yeah, okay.
Sí, me cambiaron el número de empleador y por eso tuve que volver a solicitar la licencia, pero yo ya tenía la licencia ahí mismo.
Yeah, the license at Commercial Avenue was renewed, so it's current, and the only reason we are asking for this new license is because the AIN number, the employer identification number, was changed. That's the reason of the request for the license.
Yeah, I confirm that license is active. It is currently in the applicant's name as a sole proprietor. The application before us is to issue a license for the LLC.
Okay. El secretario de la ciudad confirma que la licencia está vigente y que fue el cambio para hacerle la licencia al LLC.
Okay.
Further questions?
No.
Further questions from committee members? Questions for staff? or a motion?
Move to approve.
Move approval by Alder Figueroa Cole for item 19 only, right?
Yes.
And then seconded by Alder Glenn. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. Is there any objection to this motion? Without objection, the motion carries. Next is
Sí, Rodrigo, se aprobó la licencia para Commercial Avenue. No hay ninguna objeción de ninguno de los miembros del comité.
okay. Next is item number 20. La Bonita 5534 East Park Boulevard.
Ahora vamos a hablar del caso del artículo 20, que es la Bonita en el East Park. Entonces, la otra licencia diferente.
Okay, Rodrigo, you can explain to us about this business, how it's different or the same, and please also tell the committee whether this is currently licensed or not.
Sí, entonces Rodrigo, no sé si nos puede también explicar un poco igual que antes, si es el mismo, tiene pensado tener el mismo negocio que en Commercial Avenue o qué diferencias puede haber y si tiene una licencia actualmente en este lugar también, en East Park. Rodrigo, si está hablando no le escuchamos. No sé si se ha... Espero que no se haya ido, pero no sé si ha apagado el micrófono quizás.
See if I can unmute him.
Intente conectar, si está hablando, intente activar el micrófono, porque aquí no le escuchamos. El presidente está intentando activar su micrófono.
Ok.
Ok, perfecto. Entonces eso, sí que me escuchó la pregunta. ¿De qué manera, si es el mismo tipo de negocio el que tiene pensado montar o tener en East Park, o si hay alguna diferencia con el de Commercial, y si en East Park ya tiene una licencia vigente?
Sí, va a ser el mismo negocio.
¿Y tiene licencia vigente en East Park?
No, en este no, solamente es un nuevo restaurante que estoy intentando abrir.
Ok.
Y por eso solicité licencia.
Ok, ¿y en el lugar antes había una licencia en ese mismo establecimiento, en la ubicación física?
No, creo que no.
Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be the same type of business. And this is a new place that I'm trying to open. And I asked if there was any kind of previous business with a license, and he doesn't believe so.
Okay. Thank you. Questions? Alder Figueroa Cole.
Could you again please clarify, because the application says that this is a restaurant, not a grocery restaurant, so it's not the same, right?
Simplemente para clarificar, Rodrigo, en la solicitud dice que es un restaurante, no una tienda de abarrotes o supermercado y restaurante. ¿Es así?
No, es solo restaurante.
Okay, it's just a restaurant.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions from committee members? Alder Glenn.
Hi, thank you. On the application, and I think it's just the same thing that maybe happened with the other one, but on this one, it asks, is the applicant a subsidiary of any other corporation or LLC? And this one doesn't list the LLC, it lists Rodrigo. So I'm wondering, is this part of the LLC? Because yes and no are 19 and 20 are both X'd for yes and no. So I'm just wondering. Clarification.
Sí, me estaba preguntando, igual es el mismo problema que había en la otra solicitud. En una de las preguntas le pregunta si es usted un subsidiario, si pertenece a otro LLC, y está marcado tanto sí como no.
¿Perdón?
Yeah. So let me clarify. So Alder Glenn, so you want to clarify if he is he's answering both yes and no to being part of another LLC or being an individual person part of an LLC.
Correct. Individual part. So
Okay.
the other one was the change over to the LLC. So I just wanted to make sure, is this the same thing? Because he has yes and no crossed on his application.
Sí, entonces la pregunta quería saber si era lo mismo como en el otro lado cambió desde el propietario único a una LLC, a una compañía, si este era el mismo caso. Está pidiendo la licencia bajo el LLC del...
Did I accidentally get muted again?
I don't know.
Rodrigo, ¿me oye?
Maybe.
Nosotros no le estamos escuchando ahora.
Can Tech tell me if it looks like? Oh, I see him on the call here. Allow to talk. Okay, we should be able to hear him. If he talks.
Rodrigo, ¿nos oye y puede hablar?
Ok, sí,
Ok, perfecto.
se cortó mi teléfono, disculpa.
Yeah, I
¿Me
got
podría
cut
repetir la pregunta?
on the phone. La pregunta es básicamente que este negocio en East Park es la misma situación que en el anterior, que es un cambio. ¿Va a operar bajo el LLC o como propietario único?
No, este es un nuevo negocio que estoy abriendo.
Okay. Es una LLC diferente, entonces, que la de comercial.
Sí,
Okay.
sí, es un nuevo.
I'm getting that he's operating this under an LLC, but it's a separate one from the one in Commercial Avenue. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Yep,
And
okay.
then the other, thank you very much. The last question is, he has spoken to the Alder in 17?
Rodrigo, ¿ha hablado con el concejal de la zona, que es del distrito 17?
No.
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, I think this question will be for the Deputy City Clerk before the applicant. And that is, Jim, could you just confirm in your materials, is there a floor plan? There's not a floor plan in our packet, but on the application it says floor plan is checked by someone in your office. And then also I just wanted to confirm if the supplemental materials are different. The supplemental materials we have for this item are relatively identical to the last item in terms of the menu for commercial and even the brief business plan that says grocery and restaurant. So I was wondering if maybe these were scanned in incorrectly into Legistar.
Yeah, I'm not seeing a floor plan here. I see the beverage server training, I see a lease, I see the certificate to establish LLC, I see stuff from Department of Revenue for the sales tax. There's a menu, a business plan, and then the rest is the application and background check information.
To confirm, is the brief business plan say grocery? Say Mexican food with groceries?
Correct.
Okay. And the menu is the Commercial Avenue menu, correct? At the bottom it says commercial?
Correct.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And then could we confirm with the applicant, please?
Y entonces, Rodrigo, estaban simplemente mirando que parece que los materiales de la solicitud son básicamente idénticos, son muy similares a los de tanto los de Commercial Avenue como los de East Park. Entonces, lo que parece que no está incluido es un plano del lugar, un plano del restaurante, y en el plan de negocio parece que es idéntico al del otro lado y también menciona que es grocery, una tienda, un supermercado y restaurante.
No, solamente, una de la de 4915 Commercial es tienda y el otro solamente va a ser un restaurante.
Yep.
El plano todavía no lo tengo terminado porque están haciendo
van a instalar una campana. Entonces, todavía no tengo el plano terminado porque falta la instalación de la campana.
Yeah, it's a different business, but I have not provided the plan yet because they are installing a hood. They are still installing a hood in there, and that's why I have not provided a plan.
They're still in what?
A hood over the stove.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So then, thank you for confirming that. I just wanted to confirm then your office's practice, Jim, is that won't hold us up from proceeding tonight, but it would be in good order for the applicant to get to your office the floor plans before the coming council meeting. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Entonces, lo que están diciendo es no nos va a impedir seguir adelante hoy, pero antes de aprobar la solicitud tendría que entregar ese plano del lugar, a la oficina a Jim, el secretario de la ciudad.
Ok, sí, yo lo mando lo más pronto posible cuando usted...
Yeah, I will send it. Y déjeme hacerle una pregunta solo por clarificar una pregunta de algo del concejal. ¿El menú va a ser el mismo que tiene en Commercial?
Sí.
Okay. I was asking if the menu is going to be the same one as he has in Commercial, and the answer is yes.
Okay, very good. And just one last thing, just to confirm, he certainly could provide us a handwritten floor plan to the city clerk's office prior to any equipment installation. He doesn't have to wait for equipment installation unless that makes a big difference where the kitchen will be located within his space or what have you.
Yeah. Y simplemente por aclarar, puede presentar el plano antes de instalar esa campana, porque básicamente no hay, la cocina va a estar donde está, no hay una gran diferencia de si está indicada la campana o no, así que puede entregar ese plano del lugar en cualquier momento que quiera.
Ok, entonces yo se los mando lo más pronto posible.
Yep, I will send it in as soon as possible.
All right, further questions from committee members? Ms. Westra.
So we've heard that the applicant hasn't talked to the alder of the district. Have they talked to the police captain and had a neighborhood meeting? All of the things on the orange sign that they were given?
Sí, entonces ya nos mencionó Rodrigo que no habló con el concejal de la zona donde va a estar el restaurante. Los otros requisitos también son hablar con el jefe, el capitán de policía de la zona. ¿Ha hablado con el capitán de policía?
¿Quién es el concejal, perdón?
Who's the alder for this district?
That would be Alder Sabrina Madison.
Okay, la concejal se llama Sabrina Madison. No sé si le suena o la conoce.
And then for the La Bonita Commercial Ave, that's Alder Derek Field.
Okay, y para el de Commercial Avenue es Derek Field. Pero tendría que hablar con Sabrina Madison. ¿Ha hablado con el capitán de policía?
Ok.
¿Ha tenido una conversación con el capitán de policía de la zona? Para East Park.
He hablado con una persona, pero no me acuerdo cómo se llama. ¿Es para hacer la inspección?
No, sería con el policía, el jefe de policía de la zona.
No he hablado con nadie, pero tengo que hablar con ellos.
Yeah, I have not talked to the captain of police. Do I need to?
Yes, and have you talked to the neighborhood association?
Sí, tiene que hablar con el capitán de policía y también tiene que hablar con la asociación de vecinos. ¿Ha tenido alguna conversación con la asociación de vecinos?
No.
No, I have not talked to the neighborhood association either.
Okay.
Okay, further questions?
So I would like to move referral to the next meeting of the ALRC for this license so that he can have his mandated meetings.
Okay, motion by Ms. Westra to refer to the next ALRC meeting. Is there a second? there a second? Second by Ms. Clemens. Further questions for the applicant? Alder Figueroa Cole.
Thank you. I just, Julio, I want to clarify with the applicant. So Alder Phil did contact me about this application for his area, for the one on his area, and explained that he had spoken to the captain about it. And he also mentioned that he had wrote a letter to the board saying that he was okay with this. I
Alder
didn't talk to
Figueroa
Sabrina.
Cole.
Well, I have a question. Hold on. I didn't talk to Sabrina, so I'm asking. My question is going to be, do we my question for the applicant is, can we please clarify about the orange sticker requirement? Because a meeting is not required. It's just like you're supposed to post it and give access to people. Can we clarify if that happened?
Okay, can I just, I'm just going to remind the committee that we are on item 20. So item 19 has already been approved.
No,
So
I get it. I get it. So, yeah.
I'm just
So
reminding
the orange
people.
sticker, the orange thing that you put on the door, right? That is not doesn't require a meeting. It requires that you let people know that you're there. Did that happen?
Hay una pegatina, una calcomanía naranja que tiene que poner en la puerta o en el negocio. ¿Lo hizo?
Sí.
Yes, I did that.
Okay, I just want to clarify that it was between the orange sticker happened, maybe not the neighborhood meeting, but the notice was posted. Did he get anybody coming into the store from that notice?
Una vez que puso ese aviso para la comunidad, ¿fue alguien al restaurante o al lugar para hablar con usted sobre ese aviso o sobre el negocio?
No.
Yeah, nobody came in.
All right, thank you. Just clarifying that part. Thanks.
Okay, further questions for the applicant before we discuss the motion? Seeing none. We're done.
I will call him and interpret on the phone.
Okay,
all the
sounds good, thank you. Okay, so now the motion is for item 20 to refer it to the next meeting. Is there any discussion about that? Alder Glenn.
I don't, it's not like I'm against referring 100% because I know that the rules. I am just wanting to make sure 100% because what we just heard from Alder Figueroa about Alder Field, and he said the same thing about that he never spoke to that Alder, and we know that Derek did write a letter and all that. So I just want to make sure that we're not having any barriers here and that there hasn't been any contact or Alder Madison doesn't know and that we're getting all of the information. And if that is, and then the note was posted, but Alder wasn't notified, I'm fine with referring. I just want to be careful that we're not, there hasn't been some miscommunication.
Yeah, Alder Glenn, I can confirm that Alder Madison sent an email to me and included the MPD captain this Monday and said they had not heard from the business yet, and then reached out to Debbie Fields in the council office for information on requesting an interpreter to then call the applicant to get a discussion. I'm judging based upon the applicant saying they have not talked to the Alder that they weren't able to connect between today and Monday, but as of Monday, Alder Madison indicated she had not yet heard from the applicant.
Thank you very much for the clarification.
Any further questions, Alder Glenn? Ms. Bell?
No, thank you. I'm finished.
I just have a clarification, I just have a question for the committee just because I'm still learning. So obviously we have these expectations that you talk to the police chief, you talk to the Alder, you talk to the neighborhood association. What resources are available for people that don't speak English so that they can do the required things? You know what I mean?
I can speak to that. So when when an applicant reaches out to any member of the city, the member of the city has the information to reach out to an interpreter service to then bring them on the line to then interpret for that. I can't speak to if they contact the neighborhood association because that's not a city agency. But as far as reaching out to any alder or the police district captain, both of those folks would have access to the city's interpreter contract or whatever, that group.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Further questions? Okay, further questions? Discussion, or sorry, we were on discussion, but questions are fine too. Any discussion of the motion? Okay, so is there any objection to this motion to refer to the next ALRC meeting for item 20? Seeing no objection, that motion carries. This is referred to the next meeting. Go ahead.
I don't know if you need the record. Okay. Entonces, Rodrigo, lo que le estaba diciendo por el teléfono, entonces la moción que se ha aprobado es que este caso se vuelva a tratar en la próxima reunión del comité, que sería en enero, y una vez que haya usted hablado, para que usted tenga tiempo para hablar con el concejal, con el capitán de policía y la asociación de vecinos. Do you have a date for January?
Yes. It's the 21st. Okay.
El 21, que también es siempre los miércoles, entonces el 21 de enero sería la siguiente reunión. Entonces intenté hablar tanto con la concejala Madison, el capitán de policía y la asociación de vecinos antes de esa fecha del 21. De acuerdo.
Okay. Thanks, Rodrigo, for being here with us today.
Sí, gracias, Rodrigo, por estar aquí.
Alder Figueroa Cole.
I'm good, thank you.
Okay. I believe we're on item 14. Change of licensed premises for Mint Mark at 1874 East Washington Avenue. Do we have a registrant for this?
Yes, Chad Vogel is registered and in Zoom.
Okay, Chad, can you tell us about your request? Chad, if you're speaking, we can't hear you.
You should see a request to unmute. There you go.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. We are opening a bar on the 6th floor. It is connected to the Mint Mark space through an elevator in the foyer of the Mint Mark.
Okay. Any questions from committee members?
Chad, do you guys have a dining room up there too, or just gonna be the bar?
No, we plan on serving some snacks, but it's not feasible to serve the items that we serve at Mint Mark going up that elevator. It's not a possibility, but we do plan on having small snacks, kind of like a place where you would go before dinner or after dinner.
Thank you, Chair. A question for the applicant. If I'm reading it correctly, I believe the floor plan for the new upstairs area being added has a 45-person indoor capacity.
That is correct. I believe it's 46 on the application, but it might be 45.
I think the application has 49 and the floor plan states 45.
Okay, yeah, the 49 is the largest acceptable per fire code for that space on the interior. We expect to have 45 seats, but as you know, some of these, as the build out persists, it might change from 45 to 47, 49, but there can be no more than 49.
So will the application be amended if there are any final changes, if the space is under construction now? So that the
We
license-
definitely could. We expect to be completed in the probably beginning of February, end of January. So yeah, that's my best estimation though at this point.
Okay, no other questions for me right now.
Thank you. Further questions? Ms. Westra.
This isn't for the applicant. This will be for Attorney Reynolds.
Go ahead.
Attorney Reynolds, can you go over, because we have some new people on the committee, how capacity works for licenses?
Give me 1 second. So basically, the alcohol, the ALRC can have a recommended capacity, but then building inspection and fire also has a capacity, and whatever is lower ends up being the capacity. Does that answer the question?
Yeah, so unless we're specifically trying to keep a smaller capacity, what we see or what we do doesn't necessarily matter. It's what fire and building inspection come back as.
Right. I would say they're sort of the experts on what the space can actually hold, and then this committee would be able to, limit it even further if it thought it was necessary, but it would be whatever is the lower of the two.
Thank you.
Questions? Further questions? Move to grant by Alder Verveer. Ms. Westra, is that a second? Seconded by Ms. Westra. Any discussion? Any discussion? Seeing none, any objection to granting? Seeing none, the motion carries. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you. Have a great night.
You too. Next on our agenda is item 16, Luna's Market, 2328 South Park Street. We have someone for this.
Yes, Miriam Maldonado is registered and in Zoom.
Mariam? Can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great.
Please explain to the committee about your business and your request for a new license.
So I'm opening my second store in South Park Street, where the All Oriental Market was. I have a current store right now. It's in the Allied neighborhood. And my store carry an alcohol license that I've been carrying with no problems since I opened there. Thanks God. Knock on wood. And I'm planning to do the same in the space that I have on Park Street. So the idea is that my customers come shop for the groceries, and also if they want to take a beer, wine, or their favorite bottle, are able to.
All right. Any questions? Alder Glenn.
I feel like I already know the answer to this because I've seen your whole business on the news and tons of people talking about it, and congratulations on the second location. But have you talked to the alder and the police captain in the area?
Yes, I have talked to everyone. And I had my meeting too. So I talked to the captain over the phone. I talked to the elder. He said that we would be in the meeting, but he wasn't be able to make it. And then I talked to the neighborhood association.
He was here. But okay.
I'm still here.
I see you now.
Yeah, she did talk to me. Yes.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to say, congratulations on the second store, and it is very exciting for the community. Thanks.
I appreciate it.
All right, Ms. Westra.
One thing I'm noticing, I know we had to refer it to this meeting because we needed to renotice it. I see that the license that we have, application we have in front of us, only has the Class A beer checked. So we might need to amend that on the record just to say that this is Class A and beer and liquor.
I don't know if the question is for me, but we amended in the last meeting. That's why my license was moved to this meeting.
So I'm sorry. So Jim, do we have the wrong scan in the packet, or?
Yeah, I don't know if let me double check to see. I don't know if the new scan was put in there, but
okay.
But no, it's definitely been noticed as a Class A beer,
I know we noticed it, but okay, so we do have one that's been updated with the right check boxes.
Yep, I believe Marion came in and she just marked on the original application. She checked all those boxes.
Okay.
All right, thanks for that. Further questions? Okay, if there are no more questions, then a motion would be in order. Alder Glenn.
Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Alder Glenn, seconded by Alder Figueroa Cole. Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. Could we hear any recommendation from the Alder of the district, Alder Knox, please? Specifically, Alder, I was curious if you were recommending any conditions on the license. I note there are conditions on Luna's current license at Red Arrow Trail.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the conditions on Red Arrow Trail. That's dotted by district.
Yes, I know they're not.
Basically, yeah, yeah. Right,
I know it's Alder Figueroa Cole's district.
Yeah. So, do you know what those conditions were offhand?
Yes, condition number 1 is no sale of single containers or fermented malt beverages. Condition 2 is the establishment shall not sell, dispense, or give away intoxicating liquor in the original container in amounts of 200 milliliters or less in volume.
Well, I would suggest continuing those conditions. That's my suggestion. The other things relative to her license were fine with me and the captain. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
But what were you saying about Captain Sanders? I misunderstood.
I said the other things were fine with me and the captain. Particularly, one of the things we look at is the hours, and she has perfectly acceptable hours. I think they're till 11 p.m. So that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, further questions for the, well, we're on discussion of the motion to grant. Alder
Can I
Verveer.
say something? Can you hear me?
Alder Verveer.
Yep. Thank you, Chair. If in order, could we ask the applicant then a question? So Miriam, you heard that Alder Knox is suggesting that we include the same conditions I believe you have on your current license at your first store. Do you have any concerns with those same conditions at your second location?
I don't I don't mind not selling alcohol bottle, how they call it, airplane bottles. I think they're just messy and people just throw them away, and I don't mind not having it on my store. However, when it comes to beer, we sell some beers that come in a bottle of a liter. And right now, because the condition that I have in the store, I have to sell 2 of those bottles at a time. I don't know if they call caguamas. They come in a liter. A beer. The beer is 1 liter full. And because the condition that I have in the new store, when I'm selling one of those, I have to sell 2 at a time. And I would like that condition not to be, and not to have it in the new store, because we have to like wrap them together, and it's just a lot of work. And a lot of people, they just go for one of those because they are a liter large, and they have to take 2 of them at a time. Are you understanding what I'm saying?
Yes, thank you. Out of curiosity, how much would a product like that cost for 1 liter?
It's like $4, and then the 2 liters, they go anywhere for $6.99 to like $8.99, depending on the quality of the beer.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it. I'll yield to Vice Chair Westra. Chair.
Ms. Westra.
Mute is a wonderful thing. So what I'm trying to figure out is why we need these conditions. That hasn't been articulated to me. Just because their other location across town has these conditions doesn't necessarily mean that this location needs those same conditions. It seems like these weren't discussed beforehand. And they came up as something we wanted to do because their other license has these conditions. And as a grocery store, as other things, I don't think Cops down the street, it's not Cops anymore. I just dated myself. Doesn't have conditions like that. Maybe they do. I'll look it up. But do other grocery store establishments here have these type of conditions?
Thank you. I'll just respond and say I absolutely agree with you. I was not suggesting those conditions. I was just asking the alder of the district if he was suggesting any conditions because of the location, as he obviously knows the location better than I do. But I gave Alder Knox the example that I recalled that there are conditions on this applicant's other license, obviously in the Allied neighborhood, not South Park Street. So, Alder Knox, would you mind responding to Vice Chair Westra's concern? Do you believe that the 2000?
We did.
I was just going to say, do you have concerns about this block of the South Park Street, and I don't know if you know off the top of your head if other Class A businesses have conditions at all relating to products or otherwise?
We did not originally request that, but we have had a history of like certain establishments where we kind of discourage, single sale products, so that it discourages people hanging around who may have alcohol problems and things like that. So I understand the intent of those restrictions at her other location, given the neighborhood, and I would suggest that we have a similar situation here on Park Street. So it's not required, but I would support continuing that. Now, she just, the owner just expressed concern about the singles, $4. You could get, so they have to sell 2, which would be anywhere from $6.99 to $8.99. I just think the difference in that price really, I don't think is significant. So I would Yeah, I think those conditions are put in for a purpose. It really has to do with repeat people coming back and maybe some people hanging around causing some disruption. So I would support that. Does that answer your question, Commissioner Westra?
It does. I'm gonna I'm not for the conditions and looking at the license on Park Street. Um no one else really has those conditions, so I'll be voting against the conditions for this if we
Yeah.
decide to put it on there.
Not entirely new conditions, it just depends on the location and the neighborhood. Thank you.
Alder Glenn.
Yeah, I agree with Ms. Westra. I think that, I mean, it's a liter. It's not like it's a 12-ounce can. It's a liter, so we'd rather have someone go buy 2 liters than 1 liter. So I'm struggling with that and just consumption. And I just think that, I mean, we have a real equity thing here if there isn't any others on Park Street that have to have it. So that's my feeling and thought.
Alder Figueroa Cole.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I agree with Alder Glenn and Westra. Especially, I mean, I don't know exactly why the conditions at the current Luna were put into place, but hearing the applicant's experience about having to relabel, repackage, and do all of that, and the well put together there about making people buy more alcohol than perhaps needed. I don't mind the airplane ones because the applicant is saying that's okay with that. I don't, and it makes sense that it's true. They could generate a lot of trash everywhere. So that condition, maybe we should I mean, I don't know if the applicant has that as an option on the store or not. I don't know. But for sure, the one where we are asking the applicant to repackage the product, I think that's kind of a little bit of a stretch there. So I wouldn't support that condition either.
Alder Knox.
Yeah, I mean, either way that the commission decides is fine. I will just say that we haven't had a alcohol permit on that site, that particular site area in a long time. And so we just want to be cautious of creating a situation that we don't have currently. However, we can always revisit it. So whatever the pleasure of the commission, I'm fine with.
Okay, so the question before us is whether to grant no conditions. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any more discussion or questions about this?
Alder Glenn was the maker of the motion and Alder Figueroa Cole seconded.
So okay, so now's your opportunity if we want to change the motion. Alder Glenn.
So the changing of the motion would be to approve with no conditions.
No, that's the motion that's before us.
Oh, I thought you were saying that I did have, my mistake. I thought you had said that I
okay.
had agreed to say that there were conditions and I wanted to change it.
No worries.
My fault.
Then I guess if there's no more discussion, then we're ready to vote on that motion. Any objection to the motion, recording it unanimously? Seeing none, that motion carries. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Next is item 17, new license for Sleep Inn or Mainstay, 4802 Tradewinds Parkway. Do we have an applicant or a registrant for this one?
We do. Bhavan Patel, who I'm not seeing in Zoom, but he has told me in email that he is watching, so I don't know if he just didn't click the link, but he's certainly registered to participate in the meeting.
Okay. Let's see. Ms. Westra.
This seems familiar. Has this been before us?
It has. It was at last month's meeting.
Oh,
and
we got done too soon.
The applicant connected 5 minutes after we motioned to adjourn.
So, how do we want to handle this? I think in the past we've moved it to the end of the agenda.
I just sent him an email asking if he was in Zoom because I do not see him in Zoom right now.
Okay. Alder Revere moves tabling. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Westra. Any objection? Seeing none, that's laid on the table. Let's
And so do you need a second for that?
Nope, the motion carries.
Okay.
And I was just noting it on my agenda so I don't forget. Next up is the new license for Vale and Vault, 325 East Wilson Street. Do we have?
Yep, we have two registrants. We have Courtney McCarty and Ace McCarty.
Okay.
And I believe they are both in Zoom.
Okay. So do you want to go together, or which one of you would like to go first?
Hi, welcome. Ace and Courtney McCarty here. We're just on one instance, if that's okay.
Yep, that's perfectly fine. Before we get started, I'm going to do this from now on for the rest of the meeting. Did you talk to the neighborhood association, the police captain, and the alder of the district?
Yes, we have.
Thank you. Now go ahead and tell us about your business and your request.
Sure. This is our second location for our existing businesses. So we are owners and operators of Nitro Beverage Lounge on West Washington. We opened about 3 years ago. And this location will be in the Saddlery Historic Building. So not a part of the hotel, but adjacent to it. And we will be focusing on a new speakeasy concept. We will have a little bit of light bites and food, as well as continuing our advanced bar program.
Thank you. Questions from the committee? Ms. Clemens.
Thank you, Chair. Quick question for the applicants. Will you have food service the same hours as beverage service? I couldn't tell from your application. Will it go all the way till 1?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we will have a small portion of our menu, like bar snacks, that will be available anytime we are open. So something like mixed nuts or marinated cocktail olives, and maybe a little bit of a light bite. But otherwise, the kitchen itself will be closing probably 2 or 3 hours before the end of bar service.
Thank you. No other questions for me right now.
All right. Further questions from committee members? All right. Further questions from committee members? Alder Figueroa Cole.
So I'm having a little bit of trouble reading the hours of operations. So it says 4-p.m. What is the actual closing time?
Oh, sorry. 4 o'clock would be opening time, and then 1 a.m. would be closing time.
Oh, I see. Got it. Got it. Never mind. I don't know. Usually I think I see those in the same line, so I couldn't figure out what I was reading. Okay, thank you.
Alder Glenn.
Hi, thank you. So I'm looking at the supplemental and evening operations. It talks about the craft cocktails service. It says on here small plates, but then I heard you say like olives and stuff, and then 2-drink minimum. So is that something that you're going to have? Is that everyone would have a 2-drink minimum per person to be in this space?
So just to clarify for the menu for you, we have a single menu item of small plates to make sure that we are effectively running our operations and giving our kitchen adequate closing time in the evening. We're going to shut down the larger plate items slightly before our closing hours, but we still want to offer our patrons something like a bar snack to be able to have up until closing. So something like that might be like marinated olives, candied and mixed nuts, etc. But again, just to make sure that we're staying efficient in our operations. The 2-drink minimum in the business menu is what we had anticipated for the volume per person for our business plan and financial analysis. So we won't be requiring somebody purchase 2 beverages, but we would anticipate someone have 2 beverages.
Thank you for the clarification.
Sure.
Further questions from committee members? Further questions? Guess I'll just say thank you for bringing this business. You're a business even closer to where I live.
Well, we're looking forward to seeing you.
You will. Okay, is there a motion? Moved by Alder Revere. Second by Ms. Clemens. Discussion? Seeing none, the motion carries. Next on our agenda is item number. Okay, tabled one. We will take. Is there a motion to take up item 17 off the table? Moved by Alder Revere.
Second.
Second by Ms. Westra. And Bhavinya, are you with us? You might be muted. If you're speaking, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now. Okay.
Oh my God. Thank you.
So have you had a chance to talk to the Alder, the police, and the neighbors?
Yes, talked to Alder Sean O'Brien. There is no neighborhood association where my building is located, and also talked to Captain Marshall as well.
Okay, sounds good. Now you have 3 minutes to tell us about your business.
Actually, first, can we get a motion to take off the table?
I thought we did that.
Oh, I'm sorry, you did. And who seconded?
Moved by, seconded by Westra, moved by Revere, seconded by
I'm
Westra.
sorry, I was too busy trying to find the guy.
Sorry.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
we're a hotel, and I bought this property back in 2023. It had a business or a liquor license before with the previous owner. We just didn't apply because we were busy with other things. But, you know, I had a guest that came up to me the other day and said, "This is Wisconsin and you don't have beer." So I'm like, okay, I better apply. And so, yeah, I applied. And it's just more of a convenience thing. It's not really for profit or anything like that.
Thank you. Further questions from committee members? Do you know if there was any conditions on the license before?
Are you asking me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay if you don't know.
No, not that I know of.
Okay. Questions, Ms. Clemens?
Thank you, Chair. Quick question for the applicant. What hours would you stop? Would you serve beer? When would you stop?
Generally it'll be from say noon till 10 p.m.
The previous license did not have any conditions on it.
Thank you. Further questions from committee members? Further questions? Seeing no questions, motion? Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, I do have a question for the applicant. And I apologize if you covered this and I missed it, but why are you seeking the full liquor license instead of a beer-only license? Because I only heard beer discussed.
Yeah, it's just beer. I think that when I submitted the application, that was changed by the person that took it. We're just really looking for beer, nothing else.
Okay.
I see the application just has beer checked, and I see it's noticed as just a Class B beer.
That's what I see too.
Yeah, thank you. I was just realized there was another application. Thank you.
Attorney McReynolds. Are we finished?
Thank you. I have one more question for the applicant.
And I had a question too, but you can come back to me. You can come back to, go ahead.
Okay. My question for the applicant, I'm looking at the floor plan, and is the beer cooler sort of out in the open or behind the front desk? Because I think in the premises section it says the alcohol would be behind the front desk.
No, so it's actually in our breakfast room, same place where the previous owner had the beer, and it's in a cooler. So we would have it in that same place.
Okay, and is that just
and that cooler is
accessible?
locked.
Got it.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
it has a lock on it.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. So another question for you. Is the outdoor space that you like to have in your licensed premise previously used for serving beer? Do you know?
So that is a patio area that we have that's more of a common area for the entire hotel, which sits directly next to the breakfast room, and there is a door that exits out into that room or onto that patio. So, again, when I submitted it, the receptionist, said that, just go ahead and put that in as you can use that as seating space as well.
I'm just reviewing maybe the deputy city clerk's also already done this, but it looks like on the previous application for this premise, they did not include any outdoor areas in their licensed premise. If you want to do that, Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I can. Oh, so this is a dual branded hotel. So originally this was built just as a sleep in. And then, and I believe that original liquor license was applied for at that time, but then the mainstay was added on in 2017, I believe, and that's when that patio area was installed.
The application I'm looking at is from 2019 for Beltline Hotel Partners 2 LLC, doing business as Sleep In Mainstay Madison. And they say, quote, their licensed premises, we are a dual brand, 156 unit hotel served in breakfast room. We are seeking a license to serve free of charge beer and wine to our registered guests Monday through Thursday, 5 to 7, for a manager's reception, seeking a licensed premise of 20 persons indoors only. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's correct. I couldn't be sure as to why they didn't add the patio area, but I mean, we have one, and I added it.
So what's your reaction to the fact that their licensed premises, their proposed capacity was much less than what you're suggesting?
So again, this was advice from the receptionist when I turned in my application. I mean, originally I think I had 35 or something like that. That was listed on there, but then, he said, well, you're a big hotel, you can probably add in more. So I don't even remember what we wrote on there.
So what you're actually seeking is the guests could consume the beer in all of their room, and all of the keys, right, in each of the rooms?
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. Yeah, because most people are not just going to sit, in our breakfast room and drink a beer. They're going to want to take it to their room and consume it there. But I have other friends that own hotels in Madison here, and they kind of have it set up that same way.
I don't know. It seems to me that if you have 157 keys, that your capacity you'd want would be at least 157. I believe that's what we usually see for lodging establishments with similar applications. What I was going to say about the outdoor space, though, is that I'd encourage you to check with city zoning if you want to keep that outdoor space as part of your licensed premise, to confirm that you have an appropriate, what's called conditional use permit for outdoor food and drink. So again, it would be city zoning, and city zoning will be one of the inspections that you'll have to have, assuming that the license is granted by the city council and us tonight.
Okay.
You'd have to, you have to pass a series of inspections, and one of them is zoning in any event. But just to get an advance conversation with them, I'd encourage that if you do want to have the alcohol consumption outside on the patio, which I personally have no problem with. I'm just giving you the advice that you need
we can certainly amend that so that that's not on there, because we're really going to be, just selling beer out of the cooler, and then the guests might walk outside onto the patio area. We can't stop them from walking outside. It's if it's an issue, we can just remove it or amend the application to remove that.
Yeah, again, it's not an issue for me, speaking personally. I just wanted to encourage you that you need to check in with the zoning staff, which is part of our building inspection division.
Mm-hmm.
Literally just go on their website and contact them or call them to make an appointment to meet with them. But it's up to you if you'd like to remove that tonight. That certainly is an option to you.
Yeah, just remove it. Just remove it.
Okay.
It's okay.
The deputy city clerk will amend your application. So what do you think about capacity indoors? Again, as I look at the last application for this premise, they only were going to have beer and wine served in this, I guess, breakfast room for the manager's reception, but not sell it for consumption in the rooms. You have a different business plan, so I would think that you'd want your capacity higher than the 100 that you hand wrote in when you submitted your application with the city clerk's office.
Sure. So I think you're right. I think, so we have 156 rooms here at this property. And later on, I may consider doing a manager's reception. So you advise that I should do more than 157 or 156, or just, I think that's adequate. Not everybody is going to be drinking in, 156 rooms. This is the first time I filled out an application, so I'm not really sure what I should put on there.
No, I understand. I don't feel like I can give you advice. It just seemed like the number was low for your capacity of 100 for 157 keys. But I don't know what the number should be if you want to have 100, consumption in 157 keys, and then the possibility, and then consumption in the breakfast room. I don't know what that number should be. It looks like you originally had 40.
So,
Excuse me, was the
yeah,
idea of
let's
40?
do like,
What was the idea about 40 again in your original application? I misheard you if you had.
again, it was the first time filling this out, so it's, I was just asking the receptionist when I submitted it, and, I guess this is what we decided to put on, just a 40 number. But, from what you're saying, I understand, if they want to consume it, we have to at least list the number of keys. Plus, if we want to do a manager's reception, we should add a little bit more. So maybe 200.
It looks like our experienced deputy city clerk wants to give his assistance with us as what other similarly situated applicants have done over the years.
Actually, I was going to punt
would
it
be awesome.
and ask Assistant City Attorney Amber McReynolds if you can clarify if a patron has purchased a hotel room, is that a domicile? Does that need to be part of the premises as far as the capacity goes?
I'm not sure, but I would put in the premises anywhere the applicant thinks that alcohol will be consumed.
But does the number need to be, the capacity number need to include them if that's technically a domicile, for that temporary domicile for them?
I see what you're saying. I don't know the answer to that. I suppose the same logic could apply from the other capacity question that we had, is you could, as a body, approve a higher capacity, and then, it would come down as needed from building inspection.
What would be the harm in setting it at 200 just to be safe? If
And if I could also.
Are you
just-
asking me?
Oh,
I'm asking whoever wants to weigh in.
I see no harm in that.
Okay, thank you. Alder Revere.
if I could interject, also Attorney McReynolds, if you could look at their proposed premise description, question 8. Do you believe that that's consistent with the testimony you've heard tonight in terms of allowing consumption in each of the guest rooms?
That's a good point. I would add that in if that's what the intention is, if that's what the applicant is asking for, that should be in there.
So, Mr. Patel, could you just confirm one more time? First of all, the easy part, you'd like the deputy city clerk to strike the sentence that it looks like maybe was added also when you submitted the application. There's a small patio area, and I guess next to our breakfast room, you'd like that deleted from your proposed license premise for beer?
Correct.
Okay, so
Yeah, we
we'll
can
drop
delete
that
that.
sentence. And then what do you suggest we further edit that answer? I don't know that you have it in front of you or not, what you submitted to us. It's question 8 if you do. But you would like you would like licensed premise in essence to be the entire hotel, is that right?
Yeah, it's, again, if somebody wants to buy a beer, we would sell it to them, but we can't confine them to a certain section while they drink their beer. I mean, the only place that we would not allow it is in our pool area, really, because we can't have glass in there. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Is that enough for
Okay.
you, Jim? Do you have to amend the description? Okay. And then what did we settle on, so we can make a motion here? What did we settle on the new capacity? Chair, did you suggest 200 and the applicant concurred? Is that?
The applicant suggested 200, I believe, and I then resuggested it. So I guess we can ask him if he's okay if we write 200 for the capacity.
Yes, that would be fine.
Great.
200 indoor, 0 outdoor. To confirm one last time.
Mr. Patel, 200 indoor, 0 outdoor. That go okay?
Yes,
Okay,
that would be fine.
perfect.
If there are no further questions, I'm happy to move to grant that with the updated capacity and premise description.
Okay, moved by Alder Revere. To grant, seconded by Alder Glenn. Any discussion? All right. Is there any objection to the motion? Seeing none, motion carries. Thank you. Have a good rest of your night.
Thank you. Guys, have a great night.
You too. All right. We are ready to go to item 21 and 22. New license and entertainment license for Center for Black Excellence in Culture, 671 West Badger Road.
Yep. I have 2 registrants, Janine Stevens Hale and Jason Fields, both into support, available to answer questions, and they are both in Zoom.
Okay, Janine and Jason, would you like to go together or separately?
We can speak together. It's fine.
All right. Did you talk to the neighbors, the police, and the alder?
Yes, I'll defer to Jason as he was the one who spoke to them.
Yeah, we Captain Zanders, Alder Knox came by, took a tour, saw the place. We also had a list of people we had to call, left voice messages for some folks, didn't get back any phone calls or any concerns from others, but reached out to everybody.
Thank you. Now you can discuss your business and your request and whatever you think might help us make a decision.
Yes, so the Center for Black Excellence in Culture, we're a new nonprofit that's based here in Madison, over on the south side of Madison. The purpose of our space is to be transformative for the Black community. So what that all entails is really hosting a cultural space where there are focuses on fostering entrepreneurship, cultural expression through performing arts and visual arts, youth leadership, and intergenerational learning, which means, essentially having youth mixed with seniors to be able to build deeper relationships within our community. The reason why we're applying for these 2 licenses are because we have 2 bar areas located in our space. One would be outside of our large theater that we would host performing arts opportunities in, as well as if people were to rent our space for weddings or any other private events, they would have the opportunity to utilize the bar. The other bar is on the 3rd level of our building, which is exclusive to members only, and it's a private lounge where people can come after hours. So essentially from 5 p.m. to midnight, if there's a private event, to be able to kind of sit, have light snacks, and sit amongst community. We can host little private gatherings there based on, how we want to include people in the community regarding, celebrating Black culture. So I think that's pretty much it. I'm covering all the pieces, but Jason, if you want to elaborate on anything.
No, I think that covers it all. In addition to that, there are some research things that we do. We do have partnership with organizations where we'll be studying Alzheimer's, the movement and the energy and how it affects pregnant women. There's some strategies around doulas And so even though we are arts and culture entertainment center, there is research that'll be done as well.
Thank you. Questions from committee members? Any questions?
I will just add that they also applied for a theater license, which does not go for the ALRC, it just goes to the Common Council. I'm still waiting on clarification. They might not even need the entertainment license because I believe if they have a theater license, that would cover any entertainment, just as like the Majestic, I think, has a theater license and not an entertainment license. But it's before us now, and if they end up not needing it, there's kind of no harm. But I'm still waiting on that clarification, and I should have it by the Common Council meeting.
Thanks. Any further questions from committee members? Okay, let's see. Ms. Westra.
I will defer to Alder Glenn.
Alder Glenn.
Thank you, Ms. Westra. I move to approve.
Move approval by Alder Glenn.
Second.
Second by Ms. Westra. Any discussion? And this is for both items 21 and 22? The license and the entertainment?
Yes.
Yes, for me.
Perfect. Any discussion?
Me. I have a discussion.
Alder
I
Glenn.
am excited. I just want to say that I am excited for all of the things that are coming, all of the application, all of the business, and it has been a welcome wait. And glad we are here for all of you, and the community is ready.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
Okay. Further discussion? Any objection to the motion? Just to approve 21 and 22. Seeing none, that motion carries. Thank you. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Next on the agenda is item 23, Bonzo 2105 Sherman Avenue. Do we have a registrant?
Yep, Aaron Collins is registered and support, available to answer questions, and currently in Zoom.
Aaron?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Did you make the required notifications, the alder, the neighbors, and the police?
We did, yes.
Okay, great. Now tell us about your request.
Sure. So my wife Natalie and I have been operating Bonzo up on Sherman Avenue since 2011 as a fast casual Mediterranean restaurant. We've held a Class B beer and wine license for almost that entire time. And now we're looking to add a liquor license, essentially wanting to add a small selection of a small cocktail menu to offer a more complete dining experience there.
Thank you. Questions from committee members? Ms. Bell.
So I'm looking on your application and it says that you estimate that 1% of your sales would be alcohol. Is that accurate based on what you're describing?
Yes, that is accurate as of right now. We don't do a whole lot of beer and wine sales as it is. Hopefully that number would grow a little bit. I think it might be skewed a little. We do a lot of catering, and those numbers are included there too. So it might be, if you took that out, it might be slightly higher, but not more than 5% for sure, even in that case.
Okay, thank you.
Further questions from committee members? Seeing none, Is there a motion? Alder Glenn.
Move to approve.
Moved
Second.
by Alder Glenn, seconded by Ms. Westra. Any discussion of the motion? Any discussion? Seeing none. Is there any objection? Seeing none, the motion carries. Next on
Thank
the...
you, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks. Capital Club, 107 State Street.
I have a Stephen Mateo Bell Castile and a Brian Reynolds, both in support, available to answer questions.
All right, Stephen and Brian. I see you here. Can you, and I know that the
Brian
neighborhood.
Reynolds.
Sorry, what?
He said Brian Reynolds.
I said good evening. It's Brian Reynolds here.
Hi. I know the neighborhood was contacted because I was at the meeting. Did you discuss it? And I know that I know Alder Revere was there too. So did you discuss it with the police?
I believe we reached out to Captain Hartman. I'm going to reach out again because I haven't spoken to him personally as I have with other licenses. But
okay,
I know that's an important step.
And he's on the call with us. Do you have any thoughts or concerns?
No, I do not have any concerns.
Okay, thank you. Now you can tell us a little more about the business and your requests.
Happy to do it. As you know, 107 State is Capitol adjacent. We're looking to open a neighborhood restaurant with what we call comforting, made from scratch American cuisine with a Midwest seasonal focus. The goal is a casual, welcoming spot, and we'll also have the idea to have al fresco dining on the patio.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions from committee members? Any questions? Is there a motion? Moved by Alder Revere. I'll second it. I think this is a straightforward and good concept, so any discussion of the motion? Alder Glenn.
I don't really have a discussion about it. I just want to say I'm hungry and I'm tired and them duck wing confit wings sound really good and I'm excited. Congratulations.
Thank you. Look forward to seeing you there.
Further discussion? Seeing none, is there any objection to the motion? Seeing none, motion carries. Last but not least, we are on item 25 and 26, Friends Applaud, 1602 Gilson Street.
We have Adam Benedetto, who is in support and wishes to speak in here. We also have other registrants, Helen Kitchell in support, wishing to speak, Carrie Rothberg in support, not wishing to speak, Laura Zerngibble in support, not wishing to speak. And then for the entertainment license, Helen Kitchell is in opposition, wishing to speak. Harry Rothberg is in opposition, not wishing to speak. And Laura Zerngibble is in opposition, not wishing to speak.
And so Helen is wishing to speak on 25 and 26?
Yes, all three are registered for both items in support of the alcohol license, not in support of the entertainment license.
Okay.
And Helen is wishing to speak for both items.
Yeah, what we can do is everyone can, if there's no objection from the committee, can talk about both at the same time. So we heard from some neighbors, we heard from the alder. Have you discussed this with the police?
Yes, I have at length.
Okay, great. Now you can tell us.
And I do believe he's going to have somebody here speaking on his behalf in support of.
The police captain, you mean?
Yeah.
Yep. Sounds good. Go ahead and tell us about your request.
The request basically is that we want to open a neighborhood restaurant. We would like to offer beer, wine, and liquor at the establishment along with food. And then I would like to have it something set up like we have other places in town, like Fabiola's and Leopold's and that sort of thing, where people could come in at happy hour and maybe get something light to eat and have a cocktail with people they work with, and then, you know, grab a bottle of wine to cook with dinner at home. So that was kind of the premise of why I applied for the liquor license. In that area of town, there's really no businesses that sell wine or coffee, or I guess some coffee, but it's a pretty kind of quiet neighborhood down there. And so I've, you know, basically put out word that I was interested in the space. And the first thing I heard was, we really want a restaurant. Like, we don't have a Weary Traveler. We don't have a place to meet with neighbors and have food and that sort of thing. So that's kind of been my goal, is to try and come up with a business plan and a menu that would accommodate that. To that end, like, I think I've been kind of veering towards, I lived in France for 2.5 years, so I kind of am veering towards a little bit of a French touch. I'm Italian, so I always want to do pizza and pasta all the time, and that kind of is the premise of the business. It also has a backyard that's fenced in, and the previous tenant, the last two previous tenants, were both people that brewed beer and made, I don't know if one of them was making hard liquor or not. I'm not sure what they were doing. But it had originally been a brewery, and so they had a license, and they would have beer events, like big beer events, in this giant, there's like a 3,000 square foot fenced in area in the back. So it's like as big as this room, well, maybe a little bigger, it's big. So yeah, they did some big events back there. I'm trying to focus on events that I think would be like interesting for the community. I would like to do something I was thinking about, obviously, is writing a business plan, like holiday stuff. Like, it would be great to do some kind of Christmas, like festive thing where I could bring in different artists that are selling things for Christmas, and could have like a small like fire and have people doing glug, which is like Swedish, you know, wine with fruit and stuff like that, and just kind of like have a real festive space for the neighborhood. It's in a pretty commercial area. And so that's kind of the concept of what I want to do. Outdoor dining in the back. There's also a small area in the front that could probably accommodate about 5 to 6 tables. Yeah. That I was hoping, because it's on the east side, it gets great morning light. I could do breakfast at eventually in the summer. So the goal is eventually to do breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if there are any questions for Adam, the more technical ones that we sometimes get into maybe should wait till after the other registrants, but if there are questions for right now, go ahead. If not, then we will move on, but stick around because things might come up. Next to speak is Helen. Sorry, I forgot her last name.
Helen Kitchell. I see Lissy Kitchell in the.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, then I'm on. We all in the neighborhood desperately want a restaurant, as Adam said. We very much appreciate his interest and willingness to do that. We support him getting a liquor license. The concern is with some of the entertainment issues, and it's not that we don't support doing those activities at the site. What it comes down to is, I would not characterize this site as being a commercial area. It's very much in the neighborhood, and across the street are some other commercial things, but they don't do anything late hours or anything. And that's a concern, is the late hours with neighbors. In the past, even with Funk Factory, and they didn't have a restaurant, there were complaints because of people being noisy after they left the place at night, and car alarms going off, and just very disruptive to a very family neighborhood kind of thing. So that's the concern about the entertainment issues, is that just simply the hours of operation, and having amplified sound. Those are the primary things that are of concern. And what we worked out with Funk Factory in the past was they required a conditional use permit, which I presume they will be required to have one as well. And within that, there were written in hours and events and things like that. So I think it's very workable. I think we just need to work with Adam to work out how he operates, and not have any I think things can happen during the day, but at nighttime, it's a family neighborhood and people are putting their kids to bed. And so that needs to be cognizant of that. I think you can have a very welcoming restaurant. You can still have events, and very much the neighborhood would support that. But it's the lack of let's say, when I say not interest in amplified sound throughout the neighborhood, because the closest near neighbor is actually just 70 feet from this establishment. So it's, if you look at it on an aerial, it's very much blanketed by all of those small family homes. So that's the primary concern about that. I was trying to think if there's anything else. I think I've covered it. Just concerned, those are the primary concerns for the entertainment thing. I think it's very workable. And so far, Adam has been very friendly and willing to work with us. So I hope we can continue to make that work all out.
Thank you. Questions for Helen? Well, let's do it this way. Helen, if we'd be a little bit casual here and include everyone in a discussion, typically we would just take testimony, ask the questions, move to our committee discussion. But in the past, we've done it more casual. Is everyone okay if we do it that way? Have a group discussion? I don't see any objection. So go ahead.
I was just going to say, we did post that we were having a public meeting. I had around 22 people show up at the public meeting. At the public meeting, I had a lot of people coming up to me with ideas and talking about opportunities and all this sort of thing. And I didn't hear anybody come up to me and speak to me about the past of previous tenants. So I was taken a little aback by yesterday. I got a phone call by one of the people that's registered. So I just was a little surprised. And me personally, I expressed this yesterday, I'm always happy to work with everybody in the community. I'm very responsive to that sort of thing. And I just, I would also say, I invite you to come and talk to me as much as possible.
Right. Can I respond?
Sure.
Oh, I was at that meeting, Adam, and I introduced myself, but I spent more time talking to your wife than I spent talking to you because you were busy talking to other people. And yeah, I didn't raise all these points because I didn't want to be the naysayer. It was such a positive night about this is your dreams and all the things you want to do and all that is very positive kind of thing. So I didn't want to go, and what about this and what about that? And I just didn't want to be the nagging lady. So I didn't mention any of that stuff, and I'm sorry for not. And Laura took it up. Nora is one of your very near neighbors, and Laura took it upon herself to give you a call and discuss that. So I'm sorry that I didn't mention any of this. I guess I just was trying to keep that night on a very positive note, and figured we'd deal with this other stuff when we deal with it. With the Funk Factory, we were able to work things out, and I don't think I think it's very workable with what you have proposed and some of your intent. And I hope that what do I say? That amplified sound and some of that other stuff, some of those considerations are not a reason for you to want to pursue this, because definitely neighbors really want your restaurant in our neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Do committee members have any questions? Either, sure. I think that was the only two who wanted to speak. Is that right?
Yeah, the other two did not wish to speak.
Okay. Alder Evers.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, committee members, and anyone who's listening in. Thanks to Adam and for putting forth this exciting proposal. This is the first that I've heard that neighbors had any objection at all. I got an email around 4:30 this afternoon when I emailed the committee earlier today to say that I had received no concerns or expressed complaints about this proposal. I was telling the absolute truth. In fact, quite the contrary. I received a lot of positive support from folks in Bay Creek who are excited about this. That said, I think the concerns that people who live nearby about noise are concerns that need to be taken seriously. I also believe Adam when he says he wants to be a good neighbor and then a willingness to work things out. You know, I think some kind of understanding that perhaps outdoor performances should stop at a reasonable hour, say maybe 9 p.m. or something like that. Anything. And I think it's quite clear that the type of amplified music that a restaurant is looking to do is more background music than, you know, versus like a rock show or something like that. Although, you know, I can also see that maybe during the daytime, occasionally there might be, you know, a surf rock band or you know, a R&B band or something like that playing. In which case, neighbors would probably want to stop by and check it out. So these are details that can and should be worked out in the conditional use, but I would encourage in the conditional use permit. But I would encourage this committee to not be overbearing in conditions that you put on the approval for the entertainment and liquor license, and allow the conditional use process to perhaps be the place where those things can be stipulated. But I would, I think at this point, giving Adam and Sasha a warm seal of approval, a warm endorsement of their plans for this site, with the understanding that there's some details yet to be worked out, is warranted. So thanks for your time, and I ask that you vote in support.
Thank you. Okay. Alder Verveer or anyone else have questions for Adam? Alder Verveer.
Thank you. I do have questions of the applicant, but while the Alder of the district, Alder Evers, is with us, just to clarify your testimony, and thanks so much for being with us tonight. Are you recommending to the committee that we not include any conditions whatsoever on either of the two licenses and allow the existing conditional use permit conditions to speak for themselves, if you will, and if need be amended through the plan commission or staff process?
Well, I appreciate that question, Alder Verveer. I think this is a conversation with Adam. If Adam is willing to take on some kind of agreement about, say, amplified music, an end time for that. It's not uncommon from what I understand, Alder Verveer, that there are time and use restrictions sometimes with entertainment and liquor license permits. And so a cutoff of an agreed upon time that addresses the concerns of the neighbors, and one that Adam feels he could live with. If perhaps that can be done tonight. Again, this is news to me that no one in the neighborhood, none of those who reached out to you in this letter today, reached out to me prior to 4:30 this afternoon. None of them I spoke with Lisa on the phone because I called her when I saw that she was copied on this email, but nobody had contacted me or called me and asked to set up a meeting, expressed a concern in this regard, which is unfortunate. So it's difficult for me to weigh in on what the appropriate level of what are some of the conditions that should be written in. And if there is a conditional use permit to be decided, that I'm not clear as to whether or not, I believe that the cup that was in place for the previous establishment expired because it's been a year since their business was in operation. If that's the case, there may need to be an application for a new conditional use permit, in which case, the start and stop hours, time of use, et cetera, could be worked out there. So it's not a very clear answer to your question, Alder Verveer. If the consensus of the committee is addressing it now and Adam is okay with that, I would like it to be something that could be a consensus and not a contentious issue. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll yield to Alder Figueroa Cole.
Alder Figueroa Cole.
I'm sorry, I got myself a little bit lost here. Is this entertainment going to be in a patio outside, or is that or indoors only?
I would like to be able to do things indoors, but outdoors as well. The thing that kind of inspired me to say, like, it would be great to have amplified outdoor music is that a lot of times I bicycle with my family to Paoli to see bands play along the stream there, and a lot of families bike or drive down there from Madison. I feel like Madison is losing out on culture there, and here this place is literally 1 block off the bike path, off the Winger Creek bike path, and so it would be a great opportunity for South Madison to offer something on the weekends like amplified music in a space that people can hang out and eat really good food as opposed to some of the food I've had in Paoli. And so it's just kind of, so I'm not aggressively being like, I want to throw, outdoor shows like you have at the stadium here on the east side. But at the same time, I don't want to limit myself if there isn't a need to, but I'm always happy to work with the neighbors and, I don't know. At some point,
I'm sorry, but I was trying to get at it's like I'm trying to find in the application where does it communicate that it's also outside.
That it's also outside?
In the application, does it state that on the application?
I don't remember.
I can't find that. It says that you check in ID to come in and checking at the door, so I don't see anything here about the outside music. I just want to, because I want to clarify, like sometime this year, we changed the entertainment license process, and unless this is an outside entertainment, it will not go to Plan Commission. Amplify music outside the building. If I'm not mistaken, maybe Amber can clarify that.
Can you repeat the question, Alder Figueroa Cole?
For Amber, the lawyer, so if this, based on the changes that we just made to the entertainment licenses, this doesn't require to go to Plan Commission unless it's the amplified music is outside. So I was trying to understand what this application was. Amber, can you confirm, please?
Yes, that sounds right to me.
Okay.
All right.
So I don't know, like Verveer was talking about the conditions on the prior conditions on the older whatever is called COP, whatever is COP, those don't they if we wanted to put conditions for indoors, we will have to put that in the alcohol license, not through Plan Commission. That's all. I'm just trying to get myself grounded here. Thank you.
Okay. Alder Evers.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. In the application for the entertainment license, there is a reference where it says, as this is an outside venue, we will end shows at a reasonable hour. Those hours are not stipulated. Adam, when you give the example of Paoli, and I've been to that as well. I didn't ride my bike all the way out there though, but I had been to shows there. Those all happen in the afternoon during the daytime. Would you agree, as a way of addressing the concerns of the residents here to have, say, like a 9 p.m. cutoff time for outside entertainment?
And like my first instinct is to say yes to that, but there is the concept of what if we have a wedding? If there's a Saturday night wedding and they want to have outdoor music till 10, like, is that okay then if I bring music back inside the place? I mean, I just don't know. If it's a wedding, it's too big to bring it into the indoor space. It's only 900 square feet. So I guess I'm happy to say like 9 would be fine. I guess I would prefer those terms come out of like a conversation with the neighbors as opposed to a city condition, but I can work with either.
Yeah, it would seem like 9 p.m. for most circumstances would be reasonable for outside entertainment. I understand your concerns about, some extenuating circumstances like a wedding and things like that, but it also is realistic that at a certain hour, your business is going to be somewhat hemmed in by the proximity of nearby neighbors and some kind of sense of what is, acceptable and reasonable for people who live close by. I think you being who you are, Adam, and your, your reputation in the community, overall, all around decent guy, I think you're going to want to work this out. So if you agree to 9 p.m. and there is some kind of consensus that that's the way to go, maybe that decision could be made tonight if the committee feels like they want to hold off on that. And since there is apparently an outdoor element to this, that it would go to Plan Commission, perhaps that would allow more time for this to be worked out with the neighborhood.
Yeah,
I'm ambivalent as the way to go. So
yeah, that sounds great.
So if I understand it correctly, you've told us just now that you want to do stuff outside.
Mhm.
So it's going to have to go to Plan Commission regardless.
Okay.
I'm not telling you that. Our attorneys will know the exact thing, but that's what it sounds like to me, if that helps. Next on the queue is Alder Glenn.
You kind of just answered mine. I just was gonna kind of answer Figueroa in that, yeah, it said the 500 on the entertainment for outside. And so since that'll go into it, I won't. But what I was going to say is, I think we've had others before us, similar situation of just conditions kind of like with weekends. Earlier during the week, later during the weekend, or outside, just to be consistent. That was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Farley.
I just wanted to make sure that the applicant was also aware, if we do come to a motion and a consensus about like say a 9 p.m. Cutoff time for outdoor entertainment, we have seen sort of similar situations where after a period of time, like the applicant has come back and has asked for changes in those license conditions, and that is something that has happened before, and is often a little bit easier once the community is kind of like more familiar with what the establishment is, what they're doing, and then those kinds of things.
Thank you. Alder Figueroa Cole.
Thank you. So I'm going to separate the two issues, the indoor versus the outdoor. I want a clarification on the indoor. Are you, is there any concerns either from you or the elder of the district on regarding the hours of operation for indoor entertainment? Will there be any issues if we put a condition of limiting the hours of indoor entertainment? Like say, 11 o'clock, midnight, whatever, for the indoor part of the business.
She's asking either you or Alder
Oh.
Evers. So if you have thoughts about that.
I mean, I put in the application that my business hours would be until midnight. So,
Okay. So you wouldn't mind a condition of having music until midnight, for example?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and for the indoor part?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Alder Evers?
Well, if the hours of operation are up at midnight, in which people you're shutting down and people are going out the door, it might make sense to have the music stop at 11 o'clock in order to be able to facilitate last call and getting people out the door. 11 o'clock feels plenty like okay for a restaurant. If you're going to stay open past midnight and serving drinks, till a regular bar time, a midnight stop time seems to make sense for the entertainment. I'm not clear about that, Adam. You're looking to have everybody out the door at 12 midnight, is that correct? Or are you looking to, what do you mean by that?
I mean, I put that my hours of operation would be done at midnight. So when I applied for the liquor license, I applied, till midnight. If you want to put the stipulation of stopping music at 11, that's fine. I understand trust is something that's built, so it's totally fine with me. It's only a 900 square foot space too, so I mean, you can't have
right. Yep.
That said, I have tried to buy a grand piano for it.
Right. And maybe to address concerns, it's not like they're going to do full-on rock shows in a 900
No.
foot place. You're looking this is more like background music for the most part, with some, occasionally it can be rollicking and things like that. But the restaurant and the food is going to be the primary attraction to this place.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine there's going to be a large stage and an elaborate sound system. It's not going to be that kind of place. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, and the stage outside, music isn't my primary focus too. It's like I want to have a stage that incorporates stand-up comedy, and I want to make it a stage that can be an interesting place for open mics and for even things like karaoke. So I just I see this big space as an opportunity to do a lot of interesting things outside. That's
sure.
Thank you.
Okay, further questions? Alder Verveer.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations, Adam.
Thank you, sir.
Sasha. I hope this hasn't been too painful for you. I remember laughing out loud when I read that Samara quoted you in the State Journal saying you were worried about bureaucratic anxiety, so I'm sorry.
No,
this has been
actually,
anxious.
everybody's been great.
Okay, good. Good. Have you had a chance to see the email that some of your neighbors submitted that was included in the packet late today?
No.
Okay, so similar to what Alder Evers was saying, 3 of your neighbors sent a memo relating to your applications and included historical documentation from the Funk Factory's conditional use permit in 2018, as well as an initial determination from city zoning as to whether or not that conditional use permit is still in effect and running with the property. And unless I'm missing something, it sounds like the premise that you'll be leasing hasn't been in operation in the last 12 months, correct? Isn't it?
I think
Is
maybe
it
even
tasting?
16. It's been a long time, like 16 months.
Yeah. So the way the zoning code works, as some here know, is that the conditional use permit that was granted to the Funks in 2018, and apparently, according to the email from some of your neighbors, negotiated with the neighborhood association at the time, is not valid any longer because the space has been out of use for 12 months as a tavern, restaurant type use. But anyway, it's pretty elaborate. I'm not going to take the time to read all this. I just would encourage you that when you have a chance to look at their email, which again is uploaded on the agenda for tonight's meeting today by the clerk's office. But it's everything from, as it relates to, since our discussion is trying to move forward with at least interior, alcohol and entertainment license for you, Sasha, tonight. It says here that obviously, and we know this from your application, that you're seeking a capacity indoors of 90. Well, they're saying that when they negotiated with the Funks in 2018, the Funks capacity was 45. And as I recall, they were licensed by the Department of Revenue. They never came to this committee, the Funks.
The interior was for 45?
Yes, if I'm reading this correctly, and again, all of us have access to this. Well, anyone does, because this is on the internet, again, in our legislative tracking program. So if you click on, they created a chart here that mentions what you're proposing in one column, and then what the past agreement with the Funks were for Funk Factory. And as it relates to the interior, they said that it was 45. No, they aren't clearly saying that they're opposing 90 persons. But in any event, and they make the point of, by the way, that your license applications are inconsistent, that for your alcohol application, you're seeking a capacity inside of 90, but on your entertainment license application, you say the interior capacity is 80.
I believe that there's a sign in the building right now that says 80.
Okay.
On the inside. I think that's where I got that number from. I might be wrong, but, and then I also it was kind of a blind guess with the outdoors. I just figured the fire department was going to come through and tell me what the capacity was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And you obviously been sitting here all night, so you heard the previous discussion about capacity and how it's established and so forth. Can Jim, the deputy city clerk, could you just confirm, is my memory correct, that Funk Factory would have been licensed by the State Department of Revenue as a brewery operation, and they've never appeared before our committee?
That would be true. Let me double check that.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so I think the only city involvement in your predecessor tenants, if you will, there was them appearing before the Madison Plan Commission in 2018. And so what happened in 2018, and I don't know if, again, we want to go down the road of trying to figure out conditions for the exterior or punt and allow more time for conversation with you and others. But anyway, they have a series of conditions here. I'm looking at what's called the disposition letter from 2018 after the Plan Commission action, and it's everything from they were allowed 4 event dates where outdoor amplified sound could be used. So only 4 times a year were the Funks allowed to have outdoor amplification, including, I know that they had a Great Taste pre-party, at least a couple years. I remember that they did that, where amplification is allowed. And then they were allowed to use the patio with no amplified sound from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m., again, with no amplification or of any sort. And then there's all sorts of other conditions here, but those are probably the most relevant to our conversation this evening. So you haven't, is this the first you're hearing about the conditional use permit?
Yeah.
And the negotiations apparently that took place with the neighbors back in 2018,
It was alluded to yesterday on the phone, but I have not seen anything in writing, and, I'm not the Funk Factory.
Right.
I would think it would be limiting to do only 4 shows with amplified music. I know that the Funk
exterior, of course,
and the exterior, yeah.
Well, everything I just mentioned, hours and is exterior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that would be limiting, just because I think it could be done in a way that doesn't upset people, and you could still have amplified music more than 4 times a year. I know that the big events that they had also rented out the adjacent spaces, like lots, and they had 600 to 800 people or something. They had big events. So I'm not planning anything like that. So I'm happy to work with the conditions of time and sound and plugging in and all that stuff for outdoors. I think it would be liberating to be able to, if a band comes through town that is a good band and wants to play in the mid-afternoon, like, that'd be awesome.
And by the way, it looks like you weren't off on the range of exterior. So again, apparently your two applications that are before us now had inconsistent numbers for capacity.
Okay.
So for alcohol, you suggested 90 indoors, 300 outdoors. And then the entertainment license, it was 80 indoors, 500 outdoors.
Okay.
And then when I looked at historical documentation from Funk Factory, they estimated that their exterior, by the way, was 350 outdoors. Where do you think you got the exterior?
I made it up. 350 sounds fine. I made it up. I was like, if it's 3,000 square feet, how many people fit in if you have people standing? So that my guess was just kind of off the cuff, because I figured, again, fire department would come through and tell me what the capacity of the spaces were.
Okay. So you've heard the testimony tonight. You heard your alder's advice. What are your thoughts on how you'd like us to proceed tonight on these applications? And in terms of the capacity question in particular, you said earlier you're fine with
350?
Yeah, well, for the inside, was it 80 or 90 that you thought was?
I think 80 would be, I know that I've laid out maps for seating to actually seat people for 55, which is tight seating, but if you do it with banquettes and stuff like that, you can do it, and larger tables. So I know that if I removed a table and had people standing, that 80 doesn't seem out of hand. So it seems reasonable. But like I said, the fire department would be the authority on the matter as far as I'm concerned.
Right, and they'll obviously do an inspection along with other agencies.
Mm.
So the floor plans you submitted, you think is a capacity of at least 80, right?
Yeah, for the interior.
Yeah. So you're suggesting 80 and 350?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
And then in terms of exterior, knowing that you will need to work with city zoning across the street in the municipal building,
mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts based on what you've heard tonight in terms of how to proceed on that? Permission to do anything outside, I'll put it that way.
Oh, I mean, I'm happy to do, what Tag suggested, 9 o'clock shut off, he said, for the outdoors. It's fine. And for indoors, 11. So I'm totally amenable to that. What else do I need to?
Well, amplification outdoors, as was alluded to earlier, since the pandemic, we relaxed how that works. So if you agreed to never have, which I know you're not agreeing to, I'll just to confirm what you heard earlier, I think if you would agree to no amplification ever outside, which sounds like it's very contrary to your business plan, then you wouldn't have to go to the Plan Commission. But if you do wish to have any sort of exterior amplification, you'll have to apply for a conditional use permit and come to a Plan Commission meeting, which usually takes about 60 days from application. And I'm sure that your alder and the neighborhood association will work hand in hand with you on that, and trying to come up with some agreement, I would think, before the Plan Commission meeting. Would you be comfortable with something like just the condition as it relates to both licenses, by the way, that you have to meet all conditions of the conditional use permit?
Sure.
Because in essence, the zoning code would say you can't have amplification outside unless, again, the Plan Commission allows it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you're agreeing tonight, because, as you know, obviously you have huge experience in the hospitality industry here and elsewhere, but, under state law, you're allowed to be open till bar time with a license from us. So you're saying that are you saying that you're agreeing here on the record to cease serving alcohol at a certain time?
Yeah.
And or close, and then also a certain time in the entertainment?
Yeah.
So just to confirm, could we hear you say what those?
I was going to stop service and close the restaurant at midnight.
Okay.
So
you're comfortable with the condition saying that establishment shall close by midnight?
Yeah, and that was
daily?
also Captain Zanders and I discussed that too, because he was really like, I don't want to have a bar closing at 2. And I was like, me neither. So that works out pretty good.
You have kids.
Yeah, 3 and 5-year-olds. So, and my wife is listening right now. She's just in bed with the kids, putting him down. So hopefully,
I hope she doesn't have bureaucratic anxiety like you do. Sasha, we're trying to be nice, kind and friendly here. And so that would be one potential condition. And then in terms of entertainment, you had concurred earlier in what time you would think you could cease entertainment inside?
Inside, we said 11. We said 11 p.m. inside.
11 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Adam. And good luck. And I'll yield. Chair, I see that Alder Figueroa Colas seeks recognition.
Alder Figueroa Cole.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions for the applicant, but I do have a comment when we're ready for that.
Okay. Any more questions for the applicant? Further questions for the applicant? Seeing none. A motion, Alder Verveer.
Actually, before a motion, could I ask Captain Hartman, does he have any words he'd like to share on behalf of South District Commander, our former LRC colleague here, Harrison Zanders, Captain Zanders?
Thank you for passing it off to me. No, I don't have anything additional to share. I spoke with Captain Zanders, referenced all the items here, and everything's been shared already.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Captain.
Can I add my 2 cents before you motion?
Sure.
Thank you. This is this is a 2-part item for me. We have the indoor entertainment that we have purview over, and the applicant is agreeing to stop it at 11. So that's a condition that we have jurisdiction over it. But for the outdoor entertainment, I'm also okay to have a condition that reads something on the lines of condition for outdoors use must be limited to the conditions determined by the Plan Commission. So as suggested by the Alder, by the applicant, that gives the applicant time to engage with the neighbors and bring those concerns to the Plan Commission floor. I don't think it is I hate using the word fair, but I don't think that is appropriate to compare conditions that were imposed in 2018 to a business that sounds completely different than what it was there before. So it's like a different business plan. Many things have changed since the pandemic. So I think this application deserves the opportunity to go to Plan Commission as a fresh, brand new application. And they should be allowed to present that business plan at that time. So I will support a motion that focuses on what we have purview on and pass on the decision of outdoor entertainment to the Plan Commission, since that is under purview. Thank you.
Okay, so anyone can make the motion at this point. Alder Verveer.
Well, thank you, Chair. I'll attempt a motion and am certainly very open to amendment suggestions by my colleagues here, including the Alder of the District. So I would move to grant agenda items 25 and 26 with the following identical conditions. First, although it wouldn't technically be a condition, that the interior capacity be 80 persons and the exterior capacity be 350 persons. And then in terms of conditions, condition number 1, that the establishment shall close by midnight daily. Number 2, that entertainment shall cease by 11 p.m. daily. And condition 3, I propose that it be that the establishment shall abide by all conditional use permit conditions. I'm happy to repeat those if anyone wants me to, but I believe that that covers our discussion, but again, open to any suggestions, amendments, feedback.
Can you just read the last one again?
The final one was suggesting that the establishment shall abide by all conditional use permit conditions. And I'll wait for a second, but then I'll maybe try to explain that a little more, just confirm what Alder Figueroa Cole was saying. That was my attempt to do that.
Would you read your second condition one more time?
Yeah, sure. Maybe I should just do everything again. So it's to grant with conditions of 80 and 350 respectively. Condition 1, the establishment shall close by midnight daily. Condition 2, entertainment shall cease by 11 p.m. daily. Condition 3, again, would be establishment shall abide by all conditional use permit conditions.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second, but I need clarity on something.
Okay, moved and seconded. Do you want to speak to it first?
Well, I'll just say that this is attempts to capture the discussion and the advice from the alder of the district and the applicant and so forth, that this is obviously a work in progress as it relates to the use outdoors of that patio space, and that'll, as Alder Figueroa Cole and others have said, is largely going to be passed off to the Madison Plan Commission in the new year.
Thank you. Alder Figueroa Cole.
Thank you. Mike, I think we had this discussion before on regards to the operation, the hours of operation. Even though they're intending to close at midnight, we don't really regulate hours. Can that be changed to cease the sales of alcohol at midnight instead of the hours of operation?
Oh, certainly. Yes. I thought maybe there would be more comfort among some of the neighbors and maybe the alder of the district, perhaps, that it'd be more strict that the business would shutter by midnight. But yeah, we could. I certainly have no objection to changing it to just that alcohol service shall cease by midnight, if that's what you're suggesting.
Or at least add it. It's just like we're approving an alcohol license, so it's like we mentioned the alcohol part. So
yeah, and that's where the part where I asked Adam to, on the record, clarify that he was agreeable to closing early or ceasing alcohol early because of that, again, state law privilege that he would have otherwise unless he agreed to close early.
Thank you. That's fine.
Yeah.
It just I think maybe add close and cease. I don't know. What is fine. Just that is fine. I just kind of like we had the discussion about the hours of operation before, and I tried to be consistent. But I'm in agreement with the part about sending it to Plan Commission, for sure.
Ms. Westra?
I guess my question is really around why we even need condition number 3 to be put on the license, since that will be the conditional use permit anyways. Why we need to call it out special?
Could I respond? Yeah, so that's a very good point, and I agree it's not necessary, Vice Chair. I from my time here at the committee, though, I think we've used that type of language a number of times, mostly to call out for interested parties, stakeholders, if you will, that, oh, there's this other thing, and maybe I should look it up and figure out what it is, because that will, again, relate to amplification, hours of operation outside. The disposition letter, by the way, from 2018, realizing it's a totally different business plan, but somewhat similar, is 6 pages worth of conditions. So it covers everything from a fire pit that, I don't know if it's still there or not, but was proposed back in 2018 to, parking, landscaping, but yes, I absolutely agree with you, Vice Chair, that it's not necessary, but it's something that I think is just there for informational purposes to remind anyone looking this up on, the licenses up on the city clerk's website or otherwise, or Legistar, that, oh, there's this other thing, and to provide comfort to the neighbors that have articulated some concerns today.
Yeah, I guess, and that's fine. I mean, but my concern with this whole thing is that this wasn't drama until 4:30. And now we're bending over to make a few people happy when that can happen at the Plan Commission. But that's fine.
I hear you. I'm was surprised. I was taken aback by the opposition myself with all this advanced, exciting publicity and so forth, and the fact that I've known Adam since he was 18, I think, maybe. Is that right? Was it 18?
22, I think.
Oh, that's when you ran for sheriff?
24, I ran for.
Oh, 24, okay. So early 20s. I'm sorry. I see others wish to speak, so I'll yield.
Alder Evers.
Yeah, thank you. I am again ambivalent about whether or not you add this this third item. I do want to comment that Adam seems eminently reasonable in this whole process and wanted to come up with a business that's not irritating his neighbors and is not running afoul of the law in any way. And he's amenable to hours of operation, wants, has volunteered that he wants to close at midnight. He's willing to have music stop at 11. He's willing to stipulate with respect to outdoor, although Alder Figueroa Cole says that's really not your purview, to cease music and entertainment outdoors at 9 p.m. This is an owner-operator, who's looking to run a successful business that is a net positive for the neighborhood. And I'm hopeful that he doesn't get caught up in bureaucratic frustrations and anxiety that sometimes happens in these approval processes. And I'm trusting that the neighborhood will work closely with him in a cooperative manner and not at the last minute just kind of surprise somebody with a long list of objections. So let's, neighbors, Adam, folks who sit on the Plan Commission, alders who sit on Plan Commission, let's endeavor to bring this to the finish line in an effective way possible. I ask you to approve this with minimal conditions, with confidence that Plan Commission will get into the nitty gritty and deal with the specifics as needed. Thanks.
Thanks. Alder Figueroa Cole.
I'm just gonna add a little bit of a process feedback here. When we went through changing the entertainment license process to remove Plan Commission from it for the indoor operations, we discovered that there were a lot of conditions placed from Plan Commission that were not reflected on the license that is posted on the wall on the businesses. So to me, that was kind of a struggle that that information wasn't known ahead. And also we had a applicant, which I don't remember the name of the applicant at the moment, but the applicant on the north side that got in trouble with MPD because of people in the parking lot. And that particular applicant wasn't really clear that she had conditions from the cop either, so that wasn't on her liquor license. So I do appreciate that if we use that as a standard from now on, that if we send someone to Plan Commission, that we do put a note in our license, a license that is put on that little frame on the restaurants or the liquor license holders, so we know that there's something else that needs to be looked at. It actually it was not an easy task for us to pull every single license that had a cop on it. So there's no real clear process today to keep those to be easily accessible. So at the minimum, I think it's a it's a very good idea, best practices, if we actually put some comments on our application. I would love to have the conditions actually listed and mimic the plan commission, but obviously the order operation for that doesn't allow us to do that. So from the process perspective, not just this particular case, I would like for us to continue to do that in the future. I hope that helps, Amy. Like, it really was painful to follow up to backtrack the whole history.
Can I make a comment on that note?
Sure.
Just to comment on, kind of dovetail on what you just said. As a person that this is the first time I've ever gone through this process, I think when I mentioned in the newspaper article that there was some anxiety, it was because when you apply for these licenses, like there's a Class A, Class B, Class C, but it doesn't very clearly specify, like when you hit press B, like what it is that you're signing on for. Because I knew what I wanted, but to figure that out, like I had to talk to other operators that were doing it, and I was like, what did you apply for? And they're like, we applied for B and this and that. And then I called the city and was like, what? I just want to make sure I got this right. And they said, well, you have to read the codes, this and that. Well, you know, as somebody that's not a lawyer and doesn't know how to go through all the codes, it would be really nice if the application just simply said, this will allow you to sell this, this, this. This will allow you to sell carryout. It's a very complicated thing. So it feels like you're following rumor and hearsay when you're trying to just apply for a liquor license. Sorry, I just had to say my piece.
Thank you. Ms. Westra.
I forgot to put my hand down.
Okay. So the motion before us is to grant items 25 and 26 with the following identical conditions. Interior capacity, well, it also specifies the interior capacity is 80 and the exterior capacity is 350. The conditions are as follows. The establishment shall close by midnight daily. Number 2, entertainment shall cease by 11 p.m. daily. And number 3, establishment shall abide by all conditional use permit conditions. It's been moved and seconded, I think. Is there any further discussion? Okay, I think that really well reflects our discussion here. So if there any objection to adopting this motion? Seeing none, the motion is adopted. Thank you. Thank you for being here and staying with us. I hope your anxiety is soothed. Okay, next is report of Madison Police Department. Anything, Captain Hartman?
Just one thing to share, and it's a follow-up from our last meeting. I did reach out to the landlord of Fusion Smoke and Spirits there, and there was some hesitation with the liquor license and as far as surrendering it and potentially passing it off to another person that would want to take it over there. Since there was that delay, the investigation from MPD side, or the Dane County Narcotics Task Force more specifically, is still ongoing. I did reach out to City Attorney Jennifer Zillavi, and I believe that she also has an update reference that as well. So I'll turn it over to her if she's ready to present and still on.
Attorney Zillavi.
Good evening. I'm still here.
Thank you.
So back when I first found out about this, first I reached out to the liquor license holder and asked him if he'd be willing to surrender the license, and told him that if it ended up being revoked, that a new license couldn't go into that spot for a year and he couldn't get a license for a year. Not that he'd probably be able to get one anyways, and he said he'd need to talk to his attorney and he would get back to me, but of course he didn't get back to me. I also spoke with the landlord to let them know about that nuance in the law, that if a license gets revoked, what the potential consequences are, and the prior operator has some interest in going back into the space. And initially they thought they were going to proceed with an eviction action against the current operator. But they are currently not, and I don't know if that's because of the pending charges, if that somehow makes the eviction more difficult for them. But I'm almost done drafting the revocation complaint, and so the operator will be before you at the January meeting to answer to the complaint. Any questions about that?
No, but
Nobody?
I'll go over with Amber, Attorney McReynolds, the process behind that before the meeting.
Very good idea.
Alder Verveer.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for the update, Attorney Zilovit. But just to confirm that only the initial appearance would be at our January, I think it's 21st meeting, correct? There wouldn't be a hearing or anything.
That's
It
correct.
would be like 2 minutes or what have you of our time.
Right, unless he decides he wants to be done with it. But given how things have progressed, I suspect that is not going to be the case.
Yes, I can just share with my colleagues and disclose it, although I haven't talked to them in quite a while. Both the license holder and their landlord were both under the opinion, after talking with you, that they maintained some level of innocence and thought it was unfair to surrender their license until they have their day in court, so to speak, in circuit court. And I haven't looked in CCAP to see what their schedule is for that case and so forth. But anyway, they maintain their innocence and think that they'll end up being vindicated or acquitted, if you will.
I think the preliminary hearing is scheduled for January 22nd.
Oh, okay. So the day after our meeting would be a prelim. Okay. While I have no, it looks like maybe Alder Figueroa Cole has a question about this establishment. I had a different question, though, about other establishment, but I'll yield if this is about Fusion.
Alder Figueroa Cole.
I was just a quick question about, I don't know if that's what the chair said, that the process was going to be explained to us. So I'm wondering if this is kind of the same. Will the process mimic somewhat what the Red Rooster process, which was kind of confusing, and we kind of learn as we went along, or will this be a different type of thing?
It's similar to that. I mean, the Red Rooster was a non-renewal, and this would be a revocation action.
So we just do a revocation action, and then a hearing gets offered if that applicant want, or the applicant can ask for a hearing. Is that what the process will be?
So he'll be given a summons and the complaint, and the summons will command him to appear before you at the January meeting. At that meeting, then he answers to the complaint, which he either says not guilty or no contest. And if he says not guilty, then it gets set for a hearing.
Okay, maybe, yeah, like clarify that. That sounds way simpler than what we experienced before. Because go ahead.
I think part of the problem with the Red Rooster too was the owner and just his waffling back and forth and not knowing what he wanted to do and not consulting an attorney prior to the appearance.
Okay. I mean, that might be true, but also I feel like a little bit lost, like for the process wise. So I think it's good that we are just discussing it right now. I don't need an email explaining all of that, but it is good that our mindset is clear. This is just what will happen the 23rd is not going to be hearing, just presenting whatever facts, and then he just makes a statement of taking them or not taking them, and then we'll move to the hearing if he doesn't agree with the facts. Thank you. Talk about anxiety. Yeah, that. Thanks for the explanation.
You're welcome.
Anything else on this? Alder Revere, you had another question?
Well, yeah, actually, before I get to my other question, I just wanted to disclose one thing further, and that is, if anyone's wondering, why are you talking to these people? It's because I'm the alder of the district, and they both reached out to me. So this establishment is on South Bassett Street in the 4th Aldermanic District. But with that said, and I saw that our legal counsel had turned her camera on as opposed to our prosecutor, and can Assistant City Attorney McReynolds just confirm, it's been so long since any of us have, in fact, maybe only a couple of us have ever sat through a revocation hearing of this committee. It's certainly before the pandemic. Does the ordinance allow us to or require us to have a hearing panel be appointed? It's not, so the full committee, if this ends up being contested and going to a hearing, it's not like all 7 voting members would need to be there, is my recollection of the ordinance, even though, as I say, this goes back a very long time.
Alder Revere, if I can
or maybe the
respond.
prosecutor can do it quicker. Yeah.
I think that was an administrative thing that the ALRC decided, that when there was a hearing, they would take volunteers for who wanted to conduct or be voting members at the hearing. And I think it was determined that, and there may be something in the clerk's office about that, but I think it was, I want to say 3 members of the committee.
Yeah, that sounds right. But you're saying it might not be codified in MGO? It might be like our separate committee rules that we haven't okay, Amber found it. Thanks.
Yeah, it's I can give you the citation here. Oh dear.
It was
It's on page 50 of the MGO. I have to check and see. 38.10 sub 1 sub B 1B. So 1B. If they deny the complaint, then the committee appoints a 3-member ad hoc subcommittee, one of whom must be an alderperson. Referred, let's see, it'd be called the hearing subcommittee. They'd conduct an evidentiary hearing and make a recommendation to the committee. And I mean, I'll double check all of this and take a look, obviously, before you are tasked with this. But that's in the ordinance.
And process-wise, the way the chair would do it is, does anybody want to volunteer to do this? And then somebody always did, so they had never just appointed somebody unless they expressed an interest. But according to the ordinance, they could do that, I guess.
Thank you both for clarifying that. I do have a different topic for our prosecutor, but I see Alder Figueroa Cole has her hand up, so I'll yield again.
Alder Figueroa Cole, is this on the same topic?
Yes, I'll take back the part about not needing something in writing. Can we please get something in writing with the steps before, regardless if it happens or not, so we can get familiar with the process?
Yep, I can do that.
Thank you. Translate the ordinance to plain English. Appreciate it.
Alder Revere.
Yeah, and then my other topic, thanks for allowing it under this agenda item, is if we could, Attorney Zillovy, have a quick update from you now, and then maybe something more detailed next month or whatever about your general prosecutions relating to licenses. MPD has had a lot of incident reports in the last several months about that have received some media attention about tavern safety checks, or the phrase that most students use is bar raids, which I know Captain Hartman doesn't like. But anyway, I presume that there have been long-form complaints filed against some or several of these establishments that have been the subject of press releases or, again, incident reports that MPD has issued. Because we haven't had here at the committee level any updates about municipal court prosecutions of any licensed establishments in quite a while. And I know you weren't able to join us the last couple meetings, so I haven't had a chance to ask you that recently.
The most recent ones, there will not be any prosecutions, but there are several in the hopper, and I can give you a more complete update in January.
Okay, great. None. I guess just one last follow-up question on this: would any be at our January meeting potentially for point assignments, if you will, for under a point system that we would have to that are finished with municipal court prosecution and they come to us?
Possibly.
Okay. All right. Thanks. Appreciate it. Look forward to
You're
the
welcome.
update next year.
Is there any further questions or comments under report of the Madison Police? Otherwise, we can move to the report of the city clerk's office.
Thank you. I have the report there in the.
Sorry, before you start, I'm gonna hand the gavel virtually over to Vice Chair Westra because I'm gonna run. So if anyone needs to talk and you're online, you might need to just. Well, I think she can see your hand, but thanks everyone. Sorry to leave early.
All right. I don't have anything to add to the report. Outside the report, I will just mention that this semester we had been working with some students from the Robert La Follette School of Public Affairs. They came into our office, and over the semester, they asked questions about our alcohol licensing process and looked to see what our office in the city could do in terms of language accessibility. And they came up with a report that they presented to us either earlier this week or last week. And they just sent it to me earlier today, and I can forward it to all of you to look it over. And if you want to provide any feedback, you can certainly do that. And that's all I have. I'm open to any questions.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim.
Please do send the report. I don't know if that was clear. Thank you.
Yep.
So, not seeing any questions for Jim, I'll be happy to entertain a motion for adjournment.
Second.
I'm sorry.
I had a question because we don't have recent calls for service in our packet. Is that right? Or do we have none?
Didn't I attach them?
Yeah, the attachments for recent calls for service and for summary of license issued, I didn't see.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you for reminding me that. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I can add them after, so they'll be there for the.
Is everyone on the committee getting the weekly emails? With the call for service?
I haven't got one of those in years. I thought we just got them on the thing.
Yeah, there's been issues with that because we still have folks from the clerk's office that are no longer.
Yeah, my name was added, so because I wasn't getting them either, but I get them now.
Yeah. I had an IT ticket. I don't know if they attended all of it. But I'll add everything to the Legistar file right now, so if you want to look at it now or look at it after this meeting, it'll be there for both of those.
Okay, so let's try this again.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any objections? Seeing none. We are now adjourned at 9:04 p.m. Have a good night,
Good
everyone.
night.
Thanks.
Good night.